Welcome back to the SqueekyDogCast.
Welcome back, motherfuckers.
It's the new year. It's 2025. Are you happy for 2025?
Come 2025.
There's no election. You already won.
No, now elections will be every year.
They will be held three times.
Voting will be mandatory, and there will only be one name on the ballot.
Punishable by what?
Punishable by yiffing.
Yiffing?
Yeah, specifically yiffing.
Okay, I'm fine. I'm not gonna vote this next election. Side note. Welcome
All the
back.
furries are waiting.
welcome back to the new year. Back to the new year. It's the first time we're in the new year. Welcome
Back to the future.
Welcome back to the days of future past. Welcome.
I mean, to be fair, the date for Back to the Future date is
2015.
come and gone.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago.
Do
Back
you
to
know
the
it was
Future
even
2 takes place 10 years ago.
Which was even more shocking?
What is it?
So this is a Star Trek bit.
Oh,
right?
wait, is it the Irish unification?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was I remember
The Irish unification of 2024.
2024.
Do you know what context that's even from?
No,
I have
not at
actually
all.
seen the episode. I know what's up.
So what's the context?
Essentially, Data is the cyborg type person
I
on
know,
the ship, right?
I know Data. Yes.
So a lot of his character arc is like trying to understand humans.
Mhm.
You know, wants to like one day laugh, like not be programmed to laugh, but to like actually laugh.
Aw.
You know, a very human character, and he's talking to Picard, who is the sort of moral center of the show, talking about like, oh, you know, violent rebellion is sometimes required, and you know, works out. Starts citing examples from history, and that episode actually got banned. That scene had to be cut for the Irish, like
For the
the
Irish
UK.
version. Oh, in the UK. So like Northern
In
Ireland.
the UK. So like, yeah, Northern Ireland. But like, can you imagine?
What do you know what year that was? Next Generation. So
Yeah,
that was early 90s.
that would have been early 90s. Yeah, like
That
Next
would have
Gen
been
technically
that would have
started in like
been
89,
during
90.
that would have been during the Troubles. Yes, that's the Troubles.
Yes,
Yeah. So
yes,
that was
it would have been
I could see why that was banned then. Yeah.
very, very, very discomforting sort of
There was a
time.
show I watched on Netflix. It was a comedy show that was made by it was called Dublin Girls or something. I watched it during
Dairy
quarantine.
Girls.
Dairy Girls, not Dublin Girls. Dairy Girls. Yeah, Dairy Girls, not
No, because
Dublin.
I've seen the name come up.
Yeah, yeah. It takes place during the Troubles, and it's like it's I believe all Irish cast and everything. And
Takes place during the Troubles as well. Jesus.
yeah, it had some I remember there was an episode where they were
So
it's been years since I saw this, but there was an episode where like the Troubles are like they're a backdrop during the episode. So like most of the episodes aren't even about the Troubles. It's just it's in the 90s, it's
it
in
happens
Ireland, and the
to take
Troubles
place
is
there.
there, and it's like a background plot point of Clubhouse. The only episode I remember that I remember the last episode Bill Clinton showed up and he gave a speech like he did in real life. But there was one where they had like a Northern Ireland or like a Republican. I don't know. It was they had some sort of extremist in a diner or something, and they were just hanging out with him. I think I don't remember the episode at all. I just remember a diner and an extremist, and something happened. I think he like took someone hostage in a comedic way. I don't remember. It's been years since I saw the show.
There's a lot of look. Let's just get your take then. What do you think of Irish unification?
Um, for
With
context,
your American perspective on this.
I think that the Irish are amongst the earliest victims of European colonialism, along with the Scottish and like a lot of other groups in
No, we
Europe.
don't even talk about fucking Scottish. The Scottish haven't had like a real soul of their own for like a couple of hundred
Yeah.
years.
So I view the Irish, and there was a lot of horrible stuff that the British did to the Irish. I think it's one of those things of like Northern Ireland has been like if Northern Ireland wants to be a part of Britain, I don't think there should be an effort to forcefully unify. But if there is a will for Northern Ireland to join the rest of Ireland, I don't think it's good if it. I think it would be better if it would be to allow if it were to be allowed to happen. Like if Northern Ireland wanted to be a part of
But
Ireland,
here's the thing though,
I would
right?
support it.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Pull up a map
Okay.
and
Uh,
look at the geography of Northern Ireland.
I am familiar with it, but a good visual
Republic.
aid is good.
A good visual aid, especially for anybody watching.
Here, I'll pull up a map of Ireland, and then it has Northern Ireland there also. Oop! I just closed it.
Well done.
I meant to
We are
hit.
professionals here.
I meant to hit the maximize button, but I was looking at the other screen. Here we go.
So you understand that, like, looking at this map,
Ooh.
there is no land border that exists between Ireland and England.
No, there's none.
Like,
It's an island.
geographically, this is Ireland,
Yeah, it's
but
Northern
this,
Ireland. Yeah.
yeah, but like geographically, these people are all Irish. Geographically, these people all live on the island of Ireland. They're not English.
Yeah,
And it's kind
but they're
of it's
Angloified.
it's not even a question of culture. It's not even a question of like, do the
Well,
people there want to be a part of like Ireland or England? It's like you live on the island of Ireland, you fuck.
to an extent, it is cultural because the northern half is Anglofied. A lot of the names here have been changed to be more English. They're Protestant instead of Catholic majority.
Okay, but
Excuse me,
The
sneezes.
Protestant Catholic thing is stupid as well. It's a stupid
Yes, but
separation.
it is a
Both Christian
cultural yeah,
anyway.
but it is a cultural difference. It is a legitimate, and it's not, it's more so of like a reflection of the authentic, not authentic, but like the original Irish culture and the Anglified
Well,
Irish culture.
I
That's where the
don't
divide comes
know.
down.
I don't know where or how or to whom this is a an extremist position, but I think you can tell already. I'm pretty, pro Irish unification,
Mhm.
and mostly for the fact of like this is very clearly a colonial holdover. And do we just allow those to sit there? Do we just allow colonial holdovers to exist purely because they have existed? Or do all the
I'm
British people in South Africa need to fucking rise up or some shit?
no, what I'm
No.
my opinion comes from two places. One is a less serious one. It's kind of a meme that there's a lot of Americans who are really like pro Republican Ireland without knowing any of the history of the region. So they'll like play their "Come out, you black and tans, come on and face me like I meant." They'll play like that song, whatever the fuck, and it's kind of like a meme that these people are like 15-year-olds and cringe. So I'm trying not to get myself into that image because I don't want to look like that. It's really cringy. Um, but the other one is that people in Northern Ireland majoritively don't want the unification, and I'm not someone who wants to force a people to not do what they want. Like if they want to be a part of the UK, I'm not going to force them to unify. But if they want to be a part of the UK, then I would support. If they want to be free from the UK, then I would support that movement. It's kind of like Hong Kong. Like if Hong Kong wanted to be a part of China, which it didn't,
Which they
well they
didn't.
didn't. Well
Let's just make that explicit. They did
they
not.
didn't want to be under the authority of the Chinese government. They didn't want to be part. They wanted to. I think they wanted to remain independent with what they had originally with the UK, but under China now. But China didn't want that. China wanted to make it like how every other province is, and then Hong Kong didn't want that. But if Hong Kong wanted to be like every other province, then I would have been like, okay, I don't care. I don't have any opinion on this. Kind of how I feel about Northern Ireland. Scotland, I actually think there's more
You
of an
use the
independence
thing
movement than
though.
Northern Ireland.
Is it good if people democratically vote for, like willingly and knowingly vote for autocratic and authoritarian governments?
That's a different story. That's well, first of all, when it comes to the UK, I think that the rise of the authoritarian parties in the UK has really little to do with Ireland. I mean, it does
No,
because
I
the
don't
English
mean
are
in
still
the
really
context of the UK, but like this whole question of
okay. So
people
electing,
not wanting to be or wanting to be part of something. I just think, the will of the people isn't really always the best final say because the will of the people can sometimes look like we say a lot of stuff like, oh, the Germans didn't have anybody else on the ballot to vote for during like the World War II time.
yeah,
But at the same time, they still would have voted for him.
yeah. The issue with that the ballots there is that they let it get to a point where that was the situation. Like at that point, it's too late.
Yeah,
Like that ballot with the giant yes and the tiny no for to vote Hitler, that's like the end point. That's like the end. Like that's what happens when you let it get too far. There were like 3 elections before that election that could have been the one that kept Nazis out in a democratic process, but no, they voted for Nazis. They let Nazi sympathizers into office and a bunch of other things. Just to dumb it down, incredibly dumb it down. Um,
yeah. There was a lot of moving parts. There was a
yeah.
lot of moving parts, but there are. I seem to recall somebody saying something about a democratically elected authoritarian government somewhere.
Um, I
It must have
mean,
been an Asian nation.
Italy, well, a lot of the times, a democratically elected authoritarian government boils down to just a democratic country that votes in the most right-wing party. Um,
Isn't it Japan?
Japan historically has a very like right-wing everything, so I wouldn't be
Right
surprised.
wing everything, but super democratic about it. It's
Yeah, I
weird.
wouldn't be surprised if Japan is the one you're thinking of. It might also be South Korea, which
As
also has
far
a
as I
history of
understood,
authoritarianism.
I thought North Korea was the authoritarian, like
There was a
of the.
time, there was a time in South Korea
I
where
would see South Korea being more
it
militaristic.
was in there was a time in from the Korean War until like the 80s where North Korea and South Korea were basically indistinguishable. Like life in North Korea was the same as it was in South Korea. They were both shitholes. North Korea actually improved first because the 80s for North Korea,
You say first, like North
like
improved and
of
more.
the two, the one
Okay.
that actually started getting higher up on like the improvement for a bit was North Korea, but then when South Korea got rid of its military dictatorship, it kind of got a lot more money from a lot of American companies and stuff, and a lot more American investment from the government and stuff, and a lot more time was put into South Korea from the West, and that kind of skyrocketed its investment. At the same time, North Korea had a huge famine that killed a significant portion of people, and but like um, South Korea,
It speaks to a lot of big failures in logistics that every time there's a military dictatorship, thousands of people in the country starve.
yeah,
It occurred to me that there's a big failure of the understanding of
I
logistics
believe
from these quote unquote tactical fucking
The
geniuses.
North Korean famine was influenced by bad economic and central planning. The blockades that the West put up, even though you could deal with China, so the blockades are only a small portion of it. And then and at like a natural like it the plants just started dying. Like so it's like a drought mixed in with bad planning mixed in with a bad world position. So like most of it does fall onto North Korea, the government of North Korea, but a portion of it is like a natural cause, though in any other country it would have been handled better. It's not like a holodrome situation where, or Holodomor, not holodrome, the Holodomor, where it was mostly the state doing it on purpose or anything, or even on accident. It was a mix of a couple things. We kind of got a little off track with that one.
We
I
did. It
wanna, I
was
wanna,
nice.
yeah,
Good.
I wanna rein it in a bit more. Um, back
You'll
to
rein me in.
no, the topic back in to Ireland.
Rein you in.
Oh hell yeah,
Right, Ireland. We
Ireland,
came all this way from
Ireland,
Ireland.
Ireland. Um, but yeah, I think I just don't think there's like any movement for an Irish unification. Like if Ireland, like I feel like if Ireland did unify, it has a significant chance that it could be a democratic process. Because if we're thinking about it, if I could see an Irish unification happening like this. The most right-wing party in the UK wins election and they're extremely England first. I can see them creating an environment
No,
where
no.
Northern Ireland.
No. You fail to understand that. If that first part happens, right, with the extremely right wing England first, they will not let go of Northern Ireland. Because remember, right wing parties like militaristic power. And that is number one power projection, but it's also a it's a what's it called? Strategic. It holds strategic value.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying this is like what would happen. I'm saying this is how I could see it happening.
Okay.
Like I could see that an isolationist England first, like specifically England first party wouldn't care or wouldn't even want an Ireland. Oh, the Irish, let them mingle to their own, have the Irish be
I
their own.
feel
But I
like
could
a
also see
party
them
that
trying to invade
extreme.
Ireland.
I could see a party who would be that isolationist and extreme, even kicking Scotland to the side.
Yeah, that's kind of like the
But not
conclusion.
Wales.
Wales, no. I mean, maybe. I think I could honestly see them just
No,
genociding the
Wales hasn't
Welsh.
been its own. Wales has a goddamn fucking dragon on its
But
flag. Like,
England
it's not a real place.
England is more racist to the Welsh than anyone else. I see so many videos of like people in England being like, "Go back to your fucking country," while talking to Welsh people on like subways and stuff.
They
It
are
is like, it is
British.
hilarious. I think they confuse them for like Poles or something because I think the English more than any other, more than any other white ethnicity, they fucking hate the Poles. I'm gonna get like hate messages from the English solely for saying that Polish people are white. Yeah.
You are pissing off all of the wrong people
I
there,
mean,
man.
all the wrong people right now are like English, so I don't really care. J.K. Rowling,
JK, yes, let's
J.K.
fucking
Rowling,
piss on JK
J.K.
Rowling for a
Rowling,
moment because I'd like to
her
say something.
her
You
other
first.
her other books that aren't Harry Potter, like she wrote like a detective series or something under her
Yeah,
pen name. And in it there were so many anti-Polish slurs. Like she is so racist to Polish
I could
people
see
and
it.
stuff. Like hits every single stereotype from what
I
I've
could
heard.
see it.
From what I've
I
heard,
could.
of course. Um,
Yeah,
so I think that's funny.
you just think that's
I just think
funny.
that's
You know,
funny.
I have fucking words. I have fucking
Tell me
words.
something about J.K. Rowling. J.K. Simmons is
I
better.
would like to make a stand today. What is it?
It
For me,
is.
it
It
is
is
4 a.m. on the 6th of January
January 6th.
2025. January 6th. And I want to make a stand today. Harry Potter is not as good as people remember.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about the
No,
books, for sure. If we're talking about the books, absolutely,
like
100%. I think the first two
everything.
movie.
Once you get further than surface level deep and actually start thinking about the world being created by J.K. Rowling in those books, it is piss poor world building.
Yes. Piss
Like
poor writing. Piss poor everything. I agree
bad
with you.
writing,
I agree with you
bad
100% on the books.
characterization.
I
Like
think. I think the movies had a lot of talented people working on them, and it kind of made it
Look,
salvaged a lot of the good
a
and left a lot
movie,
of the bad behind.
a movie like that, movies like that, series, franchises like that
Mhm.
are worked on
Mhm.
by hundreds, if not thousands of people,
Mhm.
many of whom are very, very good at what they do.
Mhm.
They can polish a turd in ways you haven't fucking seen. But
Oh,
Harry
believe
Potter,
me.
the Harry Potter core of what it is, we go back down to like what spawned all of this is incredibly bad.
Yeah. I think I have incredible nostalgia for the first movie. I think Chris Columbus, not Christopher Columbus, the Spanish explorer, Chris Columbus, the director, is my favorite director of like movies as a kid that I watched. Like, other than Steven Spielberg, I think he captures like childlike wonder for things very well. He made Home Alone. Like, he is really.
Oh, yeah.
I love Home Alone. It's like my favorite Christmas movie. I love it so much. And he made Home Alone 2, and he made the first two Harry Potter movies. He's really good at that style of movie where it's like a whimsical childish fantasy. I get to stay home alone on Christmas and I get to make cool like things in my big house. And then like I'm a wizard and I get to go off to a far place that's really cool and interesting. And I like I think the idea that the Harry Potter movies are Christmas movies comes from those first two, where like the scenes on Christmas are like the most enjoyable thing for a child to watch. Like those are very comfy, cozy movies, those first two, I feel. But like
Maybe
the
I
world
just
it
never
sets up
made any fucking.
is bad.
But like, here's the thing, right? Nostalgia be damned. I'm tired of it. She's a horrible human
She's
being,
horrible.
and this love for Harry Potter is so. I can't take it anymore. And it's like very cool people I know. This is the problem. Very cool people I know.
It's
Like
nostalgia.
it's beyond nostalgia. Like they say, it was their first exposure to like something different or witchcraft and the occult.
Yeah. To
And like,
I think it's just unfortunate because
this, this, this really bad thing
I don't
this
think
person made.
I don't think Harry Potter would be as hated if J.K. Rowling was a good person. Like if she was a nice lady who did
And
a
the
lot of
thing
nice
is,
work for the community and it was just a bad series, I think people would treat it
a
like how we
lot of the
treat
things that
like
make it
child
bad,
porn are
a
racist
lot of are are a lot of the things that are bad about the Harry Potter world being created by J.K. Rowling
is informed
is
by who she
because of those bad
it's because
things
of who
she
she
is.
is. Like a lot of the bad stuff of Harry Potter is the fact that it's very mean towards women. Like it's very clear that she is self-hating as a woman. Like there's a lot of
Because the
mean shit
the
in there.
the the one the characters' names were super fucking
Oh,
racist.
it was Cho Chang.
Cho Chang,
Cho Chang, Kingsley
Kingsley,
Shacklebolt for the only like prominent black
Shacklebolt.
male.
Yeah.
Shacklebolt. I think he's like the only black
Oh,
man in the books.
I think so.
Or at least
That
the only one
family.
described as black. And I mean, unless you count Hermione, of course. Um,
But I've spoken to the artists on Harry Potter, and this is like a real thing. This is everybody has, you know, they get they have the autism, they get the what's it called? The obsession.
this hyper obsession or something.
Hyperfixation.
Hyperfixation.
So I've spoken to the professionals on Harry Potter, and the deeper you dive into that world building, it is shockingly bad.
Oh, it's bad. Have you seen the famous image of the schools? Hold on. Harry Potter schools
I know that,
world.
like, here's a thing that bothered me about the schools, right? Is that as far as I understand,
Okay, here's the schools. Oh
Yeah.
wait, hold on. This is the first. Here. This is the map. So um on so this is apparently according to canon.
Okay, we're
I don't
going
think this
according to
is. Oh, hold
canon
on, this is
here,
not the one I
according to
remember
what
seeing.
JK says.
I think this is the one that I
But
remember seeing back in the day.
it's
This is the one I remember seeing. This is the one that J.K. Rowling put out herself, I believe.
okay. So
Like
here's
kind of
my problem, right? You've actually pulled up the perfect image because here's my problem. Hogwarts is apparently the biggest and most prestigious of all of these fucking places. But if you look at like Africa, it's like, are you telling me that no, JK,
like.
come
I
on.
think the funniest one here is that India, Pakistan, and China all go to one school. Well,
Like, come
three
on
of the most
now.
populous countries on the planet go to one school.
Like
If we're going on population alone, Indonesia should have its own school. America should have its own school. China and India should have their two
but like,
schools.
how is this getting split up? Because look at South Africa, right? If you go to like where South Africa is, consider South Africa has 11 official
Languages.
national languages,
And then you
not
add in
accents,
and then you add in
different languages.
The Ethiopian languages, English and French. Oh, English would be in South Africa, but French, Spanish.
French,
And some of these places were Spanish,
Portuguese,
Portuguese. Um, you're adding in like some like
some German,
West African languages, German, yeah, Belgian, Congolese languages, like all languages from East Africa, like the Saharan, like Arab, like there's a fuck ton of Arabic because some of these places are Arabic too. That's a lot of fucking languages at one
fucking
school. Um,
Hebrew.
yeah.
You go far enough.
For some reason, Italy and Greece don't have a school. I guess there's so many Catholics and Orthodox people there that there's no school. Afghanistan also does not have a school. So say it was, I don't know what Joanne means by this. Um, but the Italians, the Greeks, and the
No,
Afghanistans. That's her name.
listen here, Rowley.
I like how
This is
South Korea
bad.
also doesn't have a school. North
Like,
Korea doesn't have a school either, which it would be
like,
really funny if she put these three all together. Imagine a South Korean kid
uh,
going to school with a Japanese kid with knowing like the tensions between the two countries historically and like that still lasts up to this day and how
oh, but
racist the
that's
Japanese
Muggle
are.
stuff, right?
That's Muggle stuff. I love
Like
this.
J.K. Rowling thinking that far ahead, fucking why?
I do love how Germany and the Balkans are all in one school here, also with the Scandinavians. All the like you'd expect, oh, Beauxbatons. Oh, that's like the Romance countries. No, but they had the Benelux in there too. So like this easily could have included Italy and made it like all Romance language countries, but like no. Also Romania would have to get involved in that. If
But
you're
absolutely,
it's
I want everybody to just come to the understanding of what this means. This means
also where are these
that
schools
this
placed?
pissed poor writing.
Where are these schools placed in those countries? What country is school number 10 in? What country is it in? Is it in Nepal? Is it
What
like
country is
Kamartaj?
Ugadu?
Ugadu. Oh, it's in the middle. So it's in the middle of the fucking Congo jungle. It would
I
probably be
mean,
in South
like,
Africa.
no, I don't think it'd be in South Africa.
It's Joanne we're talking about. J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling.
She would love South
Then
Africa in the
probably she would. There are places here built for women like her.
90s. Is Castle
And I
Brujo
don't even
in
mean that
Brazil?
like I don't even mean that sarcastically. That's the funniest part is that I mean that literally. Like there's like
There
have you
are, yeah.
heard of Orania?
Can you say that again? Oh, Orania? Orania, that's the that's one of the countries that existed for the Boer Wars. Is it yes? Yes.
It's a place that exists right now.
Visited city?
It's a city.
Yeah, it wasn't there a country that city was the capital of or some shit.
No, like
Oh, okay,
that's
I'm wrong then.
like the country was South Africa, and that wasn't the capital. at any point. It was just a place that a bunch of
I don't know where I got that from. Probably got it from
I don't
Victoria
know,
too. I think
maybe
that's how they do the Boer Wars. Victoria too is they have Oranje and Transvaal become independent. Oh, Oranje. Oh, I thought it was like Oranje, like just take orange and replace the G with the J.
it's Afrikaans. It's
I fucking
Afrikaans.
hate
This is
Afrikaans.
also
That
this is
flag.
they also fucked with the spelling, but
That
yes,
flag looks so
Oranje.
bad. Oh, it's a Northern Cape.
Yeah,
Oh, established 1991. Self-reliance. Self-work semi.
mono-ethnic philosophy.
Rejecting the Rainbow Nation concept and trying to recreate apartheid-era South Africa within a white ethno-state.
Yes.
Is there any notable people from here? Like, is it a
Uh,
section of this Wikipedia page?
I don't know. It's the origins.
Uh,
Oh,
hey, Nelson.
Mandela's visit to Oranje. So even the president went there. Nelson Mandela.
As long as you don't stand there or anything too expensive, he's allowed to come in. Afrikanerdom.
Mm. Look, it's battle dates. You know what kind of people these are. You have them in your country, right?
uh,
States' rights, right?
list of public holidays, and it's like battle, birthday of Paul Kruger, third president of the South African Republic. That guy sounds like a racist.
Yeah, one
Wait,
of
hold on, go back
the
up, go back up, go back up, go back. The Dutch VOC administrator, Jan van
Jan van
Riebeeck,
der Beek.
revives in Cape Town. Oh my god, they have a holiday celebrating someone from the fucking VOC. Oh my god.
Yes. Oh, South Africans, white South Africans
Hold on, is this the guy
love
I'm
it.
thinking of? Employment in the VOC, commander of the Cape Colony. No, I'm thinking of a different VOC guy who we had a discussion on in my Western civilization class.
Is of immense cultural and historical significance to South Africa. He like Chris Columbus is celebrated in the US.
This is
This
your
is
Columbus.
this is South Africa's white guy.
Riebeeck,
This is our white
Riebeck,
guy
Beek,
of note, Van Riebeeck,
Van Riebeck, Jan van Riebeeck, Jan,
Jan van Riebeeck.
Jan van Riebeeck.
And what a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy.
Oh
There's
wow,
even a high school named after him
Cape Town
in Cape Town, an Afrikaans high school. So that
segregation.
sounds fun.
He died in
But yes,
Batavia.
so this town is all white folk by like their own philosophy of being a mono-ethnic, they're
Wow.
racist.
Yeah.
They're racist.
What's the leading party? Let's see. 60.
Freedom Front Plus.
Oh, that's like not even one of the major ones. That's how fucking right wing they are. That they have like a tiny party be the majority.
This guy was
Oh, that guy looks like a fucking character from the Death of Stalin or some shit. What the fuck?
like
Like a
what
comically
human?
exaggerated general. What the fuck? Look how much representation they have in the government. They have nothing. A party
No,
this
because
a party this small being the majority in a town is a scary thing. That's scary. It's like seeing like
yes,
65% card carrying like KKK members in town. Like that's scary.
this is our really, really right wing.
This
Like,
is your
look
like
at these
constitutional
guys.
union party.
Look at these
You
guys.
look so fuck. Peter Mulder. Peter
Petrus. Petrus.
Petrus Grunwald.
Petrus
Petrus
Johannes Groenewald.
Grunwald.
That's a name.
Grunwald. in there for 8 years.
What a group of people.
What a
And
group of
then,
people. And then the DA, unsurprisingly, Hope
you
for
know,
South Africa, is a political party established in 2024,
oh,
pro-Israel, against same-sex marriage, pro-Christian religion in schools. They have 0 seats, 0
ah,
representation. But this shitty fucking like hashtag party being the third most like voted for party, and then you have the African Christian Democratic Party, which that just looks like
mhm.
that looks like the Friends of Humanity or some shit from like X-Men.
I mean, this is uncomfortable.
This is a scary part of town. This is scary. There's a town in America. I believe it's called Jackson. No, not Jackson. It's a Jackson. No, not. Most racist town in America. Harrison. It was Harrison.
Harrison,
Harrison, Arkansas. Yeah.
you're
The
not
community has a
from
history of
around these
racism. There
parts,
were 2 race
are you?
riots in the early 20th century and the influx of white supremacist organizations during the late 20th and early 21st. This is commonly known as the most racist town in the U.S. I remember watching a video where a guy came here and like held up a BLM sign, and everybody who passed him was like saying, like, go back to San Francisco, and he's screamed like the N word and stuff. Yeah.
I mean,
Even then, I think this
this,
town is
this
less
is what
racist than yours.
this is what segregation leads to, though.
The
It
White
leads
River.
to animosity,
The White River. Have I
right?
shown? I don't think I could show this. It's not the bad. It's not like the N word that gets you fucking canceled. It's negro, which is a word you can say because it is black in Spanish. Uh, Run away. This is a famous creek for how bad
Oh,
it's how bad it's named.
we got such a cool flag.
Freedom Creek, formerly known as Runaway Negro Creek. It's a stream in Chatham County in Georgia. It's just a really just horrible
Wow.
name. Just despicable. Just despicable. That might actually get our video demonetized as if we made money. It is a good flag.
Wow, it is such a good flag.
I would normally complain about that yellow being there and how it kind of disrupts with the white on the other side, but I think it actually adds a bit
It's
of like progression
because,
throughout the flag that like is
like
nice.
many flags, this should represent stuff,
It
right?
does represent stuff because
And
it
that
has
yellow
the yellow.
represents the gold,
Yeah.
because big deposits of gold were found in. So
What are the colors that are commonly associated with African like Pan-Africanism? It's green? It's green, black, and what? Is it red or yellow?
I mean, you see yellow and red quite often as well with
Let me
green.
say Pan-African color. It's green, yellow, and red, and sometimes black instead of the yellow. So like green, black, yellow, and red are like the colors commonly associated. Anyway, I want to bring this back to Ireland, not Ireland, J.K. Rowling, because I actually have a transition to another topic that I actually kind of want your opinion on.
Okay.
What is your opinion on Daniel Radcliffe, the guy who played Harry Potter?
I know who Daniel
I know,
is.
just filling the dead air.
Filling the dead air. It's
Hmm.
because my opinion on Daniel Radcliffe is that aside from being the kid who was Harry Potter, right? I don't think he was ever cut out to be like
Oh, then you're so wrong. So
every time I've seen his face, I've been annoyed. And it's not a
after
good thing for an
after
actor.
after he finished Harry Potter, he had so much money. Obviously, he played the most popular character in the most popular film series
Yeah,
of
he
the
was that
2000s.
kid.
But after that, instead of taking up big roles, he kind of just did weird shit that he wanted to do. He was in Swiss Army Man where he played a dead body.
He was in the thing where he
he,
played,
he was in
where he
Gun
got horns.
he was in Guns Akimbo where he had gun the movie is about a man with guns taped to his hands that he can't get off of his hands. He was in he was in another fucking batshit movie not too long after, but he's in a
Yeah.
lot of batshit movies. And recently, he has been fan casted a lot as the new Wolverine.
Oh
and
no.
I want your opinion on this.
The thing is,
It could work
I'm the
though.
wrong I'm the wrong person to
It
ask
could work though.
because
It could work though.
I kind of liked Hugh Jackman
He's so good.
prior to and after
He's so
being
he's
Wolverine,
so good. Hugh
right?
Jackman is
Hugh Jackman,
unmatchable for the role.
look, I don't think he was perfect for the role to start with. Nobody
Mm.
thought so, but he grew into the role. If you look at him in the first X-Men movie compared to like
Logan.
big angry fucking Logan, ripped fucking, I don't care if I look 90, I'm gonna look like I fucking lift weights every single day.
Yeah,
Like,
I totally agree. Like
you know,
the thing
he wasn't the perfect casting, but he definitely grew into it because he's Hugh fucking Jackman, and people like him can do that.
he's
But
like a stage actor. He's a musical actor. Like
he's a musical. He's
he's
a
got
classically trained actor.
incredible like talent. He's such a good actor.
Daniel Radcliffe.
I
I
think he's
couldn't
got
be
that
asked if
range. He's
he's
got that
the next
range.
Wolverine. I couldn't be asked if he's the next Wolverine. I'll be honest on that part, but I'm the wrong person to ask because I don't like. He annoys me.
That's
Every time I see him, I'm annoyed.
hmm, hmm.
That's my hot take, maybe. That's my hot
I don't
take. I
know.
think I don't look. Harry Potter, the films. Let's roll it back as far as the films, right? Those films had fan fucking tastic casting
Oh,
for
like
the most
some of the
part.
best casting in film, like adaptation history,
Like
like so good. Every basic one thing that
Amy
surprises
Maggie
me.
Smith,
Oh
fucking
yes, Alan
may she
Alan
rest in
Rickman.
peace. Alan Rickman, may he rest in peace.
A lot of dead people. The guy who played Hagrid's dead. The first
JK, are
Dumbledore's
you
dead.
taking out
The ops.
your detractors here?
The ops. Well, then it means Daniel Radcliffe's next, and also Emma Watson, because those two are very. Not. I don't think Emma Watson's too vocal, but they're both. They've both said that they don't
I don't
support.
know. Emma Watson
Taking.
seemed to be vocal for a little moment and then suddenly wasn't.
I
So
think it's mostly because
no, maybe
of the
she was
actors and
taken into that
actresses.
back room and had
Oh,
that
maybe.
conversation.
I
Have you
think.
ever seen a movie called Network?
No.
So like, we gotta watch this, but at some point you reach a point of media popularity where it doesn't matter if your message says bring down the system. If your voice is big enough, the system will profit off people watching.
Oh, I've had that like in my head for like almost years at this point, where I've just been like, it is no longer anti-capitalist to criticize capitalism. Like, like Netflix and shit. Well, the Netflix will put out like Squid Games, and then they'll do their own Squid Games like
Yeah,
game show in real life, and like Amazon will fund like
you,
anti-capitalist shows. Like Amazon was gonna make a Disco Elysium show at some point. They brought Utopia over to America, and they obviously dumbed it down so it was less anti-capitalist and stuff, and like anti-authoritarian. But they don't. It's no longer like an actual like
America's a wild
criticisms of
place.
capitalism aren't even criticisms of capitalism anymore. Like the MCU will
What do
criticize
you, what is
police and
what is
shit.
your stance on state secession?
Um,
If a state chooses to leave the union,
entirely depends on context. Like I think
there's
inherently
only
there's
one, as far as I
inherently
know, that
there's only
threatens
yeah
to do this from time to time.
Texas. It's Texas. I think
Texas.
it's an attitude almost entirely held by right wingers, even when they're in power. They're like, we'll secede. Even if they're the fucking presidency, they'll be like, oh, we'll secede. It's a very right wing type of like mindset. So because of
Okay,
that, I'm like positioned against it. And I think that if I just don't think that leftists would do that because
but
because it's a very right
would
wing, it's a very like reactionary
would
opinion
it
to break away instead of like reform or work within or change. It's much more reactionary
perhaps?
to separate and like do your own thing.
But has Texas not grown to the size of its own nation?
Yes and no. Texas could not exist on its own because its infrastructure is entirely depend not entirely, but it's heavily dependent on the federal government and its interstate commerce. Without that, Texas wouldn't be able to function. California could function on its own because California almost entirely runs on its own. Texas couldn't. Texas has power outages every fucking week because they refuse to improve their power system.
Oh, Texas experiencing load shedding to me was a moment of absolute fucking
Texas,
joy.
Texas
It
literally
really
does load
was.
shedding. I remember watching a lot of Rooster Teeth, but they just all one of the big topics they talk about is how bad the power system is in Texas.
Yeah, it was as bad as well mine for many years. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if your government just told you one day, like, listen. So what we're gonna do? You're fully paid up, but we're gonna just cut your power for like 9 hours today, and you can't do anything about it.
I mean, I don't gotta believe it.
Make
I just
sure
gotta go
your
ask a
shit's
Texan.
charged. Like, that's the thing, right?
Mm.
How would how do
It's
you
just
work
like, well,
around that?
fuck you.
Do you
It's
know
just like fuck you. Like actually, just fuck
how
you.
many, how big the industry for gas generators are in South Africa?
It's like the second biggest industry there, next to fucking
Like,
private security.
private security. Look, that's going to be a hard one to overtake in South Africa, but it's only because nobody here trusts the government, not even the government. So, the police are all bought and paid for by who we don't fucking know, but like, everybody gets their cut.
Every officer is paid by a different mafia boss, a
Like,
different
look, when
organized
I say
crime ring.
shit's corrupt here, like it's endemic to like
Every man a
how South Africa runs, I guess.
uh,
Because look, let's all be honest. They inherited an inherently corrupt system to begin with. They didn't dismantle the entire government and then
no,
rebuild it. Like
no.
they basically built it off the ruins of a different broken system. So this is to be expected.
A lot of heavy
I've
topics
been
today.
well, it's been on my mind recently, like how the sort of uh, local goings on. Now that I've been back in my car and driving myself, like my world's gotten a bit bigger,
Hmm.
and like you still have to be told it's fucking 2025. Hey, don't go drive in that neighborhood. Don't stay out in that like this place after dark. Like you know,
You've been mugged twice.
yes and no. I don't know. Does it count as a mugging if they didn't get anything off you?
Yeah, it does. You just didn't lose the money. You were mugged,
Well,
but it was an attempted mugging.
I it was an attempted mugging. They didn't get anything off. They broke some cigarettes once. The second time
God
was
forbid.
I was fucking annoyed. Because like after that kind of experience, what's the one thing you could really use?
Cigarette.
A smell? Yeah,
I
fucking
would just masturbate.
tragedy. Well, I mean, I was out on the street.
Hell yeah, brother.
Look, the real shocking part to me out of that experience was that there were people like standing 3 feet away. And they'd turn around, they'd look at me, and they'd see the situation going on, and they'd just like turn back around.
I think the word is bystander effect. I think that's the one that's where like if somebody witnesses something, the first instinct is to go, "Oh, someone else will take care of that," and they just ignore it.
Nobody fucking took care of that.
Yeah, because everyone in their head was like, "Oh, someone else will get that under control," and they just kept going on with their day. It's a real issue that happens on just like it's a very human thing. Like there's really not much you can do about that other than like just promote human kindness as like a thing to value in a society. Like that's the only thing you can do.
The thing is, what is the greatest cause of crime?
Wealth inequality.
That's exactly it. And you know what South Africa is?
An extremely poor country.
It's it's not just that South Africa is extremely poor. We're not. South Africa is
I
not a poor
mean,
country.
as in
But,
the average
but
person, average poor person is extremely poor.
like yeah, the average poor, our lower class, not like class that they low like lower class, but like the poor class, right?
Mm.
They are so desperately poor.
Yeah, it's some like real
And the middle
harrowing shit.
class are incredibly rich in comparison. Like not the upper class even, like the middle class is incredibly rich in comparison to them.
Mm.
And then you still have like the upper
Which
class.
is just untouchable, as it always is,
Wha-
but even more so in a society where the lower class, which is the majority of people, is so low to the ground.
Yeah, like there are people out here. I remember working at a hardware store. And at this hardware store, a lot of people worked that were from the local township. Now, a township is poor neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
really.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. It's generally shacks, like actual shacks. These people were stealing, like, throw out materials, like broken bricks and, like, broken wooden pallets and stuff. They were sneaking it off. Stuff that the company was going to throw out to go build their homes with.
It's really harrowing, just
Like,
like
and I'm working with these
heartbreaking
people.
things.
I'm living in a concrete house with like 5 bedrooms, and I'm living in like a middle class house. That's
Insane. Yeah,
insane.
it's insane.
The wealth, yeah, what do you call it? Wealth inequality, the
Inequality.
wealth gap inequality. That shit's absolutely fucking wild.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very common story and it's in every
So
country and
yeah,
it's only
this
getting
is
worse.
this is why crime here is the way it is, and that's why the police are the way they are, and that's kind of why, like, I mean, you know that the government we have is leveraging that
Yeah, yeah.
to the full extent of what it can.
Mm.
I mean, regardless of what Jacob Zuma did, what he spent time in prison for,
It was
right?
it was fucking over rich people.
But his whole province still voted for him in the last election.
Cuz he's Zulu. The regionalism.
Because it pretty much is. It is. But I really liked, not to get back to Nelson Mandela, but he did espouse this idea of a true rainbow nation. That's why having those 11 official languages were important.
It is an
Like,
admirable thing. It's one of those
think of how different America, just reconceptualize, right? Think of how different America would have been if you took each of those Native American tribes
all like
and
1,000 of
had
them.
each of their languages enshrined in your constitution.
That'd be like 50 official languages.
Right. America is big. People don't realize
And that would
just
just
how
be
much
like the
land was
founding
trampled on in the
countries.
name of America.
That would
Yeah.
just be like the founding areas. If we go all the way out west, it's probably like 70 languages, 80 languages,
So you
90.
understand,
Yeah.
it's it's actually quite. We wanted to really make a free society in our South African Constitution. We've got protections for things that people weren't thinking of in like the 80s and 90s.
Gay rights.
Gay rights, trans rights, it's all enshrined in the Constitution.
It's very admirable.
Like, you don't see that kind of freedom a lot.
Oh, it's
But,
it's rare.
once again, a constitution is only as good as the government that upholds it, right?
And your government isn't too good at upholding it.
Not for a
Well,
while now, not for a while.
some parties, I mean, some movements of people, significant portions.
Significant portions.
Yeah. I think more Americans support gay marriage than South Africans, even though South Africans have had it longer.
The thing is that it's not a question yet. It's just a
That's
matter of
right.
fact,
Yeah.
right?
It's just like
Like
you can't do anything about it, even if most people
you
don't support it.
what do you mean you don't want your kid to marry you don't want your son to marry a guy? Fuck you. They can do it. They can just move out of the house and go get married, and fuck
Yeah.
you as well. Like, nobody needs to. It's completely not the question anymore. It's just
Hmm.
how you react to it. Because look, even though we've had LGBT rights enshrined in the Constitution, this doesn't make all cultures in South Africa very accepting.
No, no.
Afrikaans culture is very, very much like not a great part to be in if you're part of the LGBT.
I'd imagine Zulu's
English
pretty bad
culture,
too.
Zulu is pretty harsh. Zulu is pretty fucking harsh. Uh, Xhosa, not so much. Still not great, but not as much. I don't know a lot of the other ones offhand, but
I'm sure maybe the smaller community, like the smaller groups of people, are probably more accepting just because they're smaller, and like smaller groups of people tend to be more accepting because it's more of like a stick together sort of situation. Like we don't like when a group of people is small, they're less likely to eat their own, to like fall in on like
yeah,
going after each
yeah,
other. Why a
this is
lot of like
true.
it's what a lot of places like Chinatown or Little Tokyo or Little Italy exist because like people put aside like everything in order to just kind of survive and be the community in a big city of like immigrants or something, you know? Or why certain cities have a higher gay acceptance like San Francisco and stuff. Sort of that sticking together.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Mm.
about something fun. Talk about something I think I mentioned it last episode that we were gonna do this, and you said we'll save it for a future one because it'd be kind of a long topic. And I think it's kind of a good time to bring this out because it's been
Right,
a very heavy
right.
episode, a lot of heavy topics. Let's
It has.
let's tier list video game developers because I think this could be a fun topic considering that Larian's on here. Paradox is not though, and
So,
Paradox is one I wanted to rant about, but Paradox isn't on here.
Paradox is not on, yeah. There's a lot that I would add to this,
There is.
but this is a fair
This
list.
is a very
I will
diverse
say
list. We have
fair list.
so for people who are listening, we have Activision, Arcane, Atlas, Bandai Namco, Bethesda, Blizzard, Bungie, Capcom, CD Projekt Red, DICE, EA Sports, Epic Games, From Software, Gearbox Software, Insomniac Games, Konami, Larian Studios, Naughty Dog, Nintendo, Respawn Entertainment, Riot Games, Rockstar, Santa Monica Studio, Sega, Square Enix, Sucker Punch, Ubisoft, Valve, and Kojima Productions.
Okay.
And I'm gonna add an F
So,
tier because it should have an F tier. I think the default for tier maker is that there's no F, but I'm gonna add an F. Oops, I wasn't looking at what button I clicked, and I opened up Control F.
okay. Activision then.
Activision.
I mean,
Activision
what
is
is their most notable recent projects
Call of
then?
Duty. Activision is a huge company though. They do a lot of stuff. They partially own Blizzard, but they're not considered to be Blizzard on this list. Notable games published. The 2010s Sekiro. It's published, hold on, developed. List of Activision games. Oh, this is one of those ones that's just so long because they were back in like the Atari days and shit. But yeah, Call of Duty is mostly what they do now. Um,
Yeah, they did the Tony Hawk's games.
yeah. Seems like they didn't even publish anything here. They published Destiny, but that's Bungie. That's a different person on this list. They don't really do much other than Call of Duty nowadays.
Yeah, Treyarch and what's the
Treyarch,
yeah,
Sledgehammer,
Ubisoft,
Raven. Those are
Red
the
Octane.
those are the Call of Duty developers. Yo, the
Right,
Amiga.
right.
It's the Amiga. Yeah, no, they're an ancient company. So like one of the ancient video game companies. They were around for the Atari days, but now they basically do Call of Duty, and I hate Call of Duty. C tier.
You know what?
Do you agree?
This no, actually.
Oh,
I think that they would be B tier.
E. Okay.
So here's my thinking, right?
Yeah.
They are just a triple A publisher at this point. They've been around since the beginning of time. They've done everything from like Guitar Hero to Tony Hawk's
The
games,
fucking like Spyro's Adventure,
Medal
Skylanders
of
and shit.
Honor, like Skylanders. Like
They
this
just
is a
do shit.
company that they do stuff. The fuck do you expect? They hit a fucking note with Modern Warfare, and they went, "Oh shit, people are tired of 4 or 2 shooters. Are we tired of shooting Nazis? Has society finally tired of shooting the Nazis?"
Now we must shoot brown people in the Middle East and Russians.
And then, like,
And then they got bought
suddenly
out by the
Donald Trump is
army.
being like,
Yeah. I think we have to define what these tiers are though, because a B tier could be a C tier to me. I find S to be best in the business. There's not many S tiers. A is like you're a
"It's
good
not
company.
yes."
You put out mostly good things. Maybe you have a couple hiccups here and there, but you mostly put out good. B is like better than average,
Mid,
but nothing crazy. C is like mid. C is mid to me. C is like you put out games. Good for you. D is you put out games and most of them are bad. F is you're an actively horrible company. So to me, I find Activision to be you put out games. Good for you. You're a C tier.
the thing is that they've also been the money behind a lot of things that are now. Just think about it. The Tony Hawk series alone.
I mean, that's one like mid like not mid is in like bad, but like mid level series. Like it's not like a
That
heavy hitter. That's
series
one of them and it hasn't even had good
informed
games in
an
years.
entire generation's taste in music.
I didn't even think about that. I just
Like,
didn't grow up with those games.
unironically, all of those fucking kids were sitting at home playing Tony Hawk's with those soundtracks. And I don't know if you've gone through and actually looked at what's on those soundtracks and listened to them, but holy shit, that's a life to lead
Mm.
musically.
I think B also kind of works because there's a couple Call of Duty games that I do actually argue are pretty fucking good. So like, yeah, I mean,
The original Modern Warfare,
is
right?
pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like take away everything that came after.
I mean, there's one part
Every,
of Modern Warfare 1 that it really rubs me the wrong way, and it's that they had insider, not I don't think it was insider, but they used a real life AC-130 video almost one for one in their game, including quotes that actual monstrous U.S. soldiers said as they gunned down real people, and that really does rub me the wrong way. But as a game, it's really good.
The thing is that you only get access if you do what the government says.
True.
And they would to make modern people don't realize that there's a media department in both the military and the Pentagon.
Mm.
And not like they're insidiously like, no, this is well known. This is like Top Gun.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah,
is
Top
this
Gun is military propaganda, but to join the Air Force and stuff. But it's still a good movie, despite that. Like the military entertainment complex is real, but also like, what are you gonna do at a certain extent? Like, if a movie's enjoyable, it's gonna be enjoyable. It just sucks that the military made it. Same thing with games. But are you still there?
I'm still here.
It just kind of sounded like you cut out, and I thought that's what happened. So I like kind of stood up and was like, continue what you
No,
said.
no. But I think what do you think? Activision we can leave in the B or
I
we
think
look
Activision should stay in B because there are some Call of Duty games that are pretty good, and they have put out a good amount of games in their time. Nowadays, they put out mostly stinkers, but they're not as bad
by
as something like
sheer force of
Ubisoft.
will, they will release something good sometimes.
Sometime something soon will be released that is good. Next is Arcane, which is old. These are another kind of old ones. They make System Shock, but more recently, they did Redfall, which was absolute ass. They did Deathloop, which I've heard was good. They did Prey, Dishonored. They did System
They did
Shock,
Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. My goodness.
Dark
These
Messiah.
people do interesting things. These people do interesting things.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
these guys were. Here's all their games. I thought these guys were the League of Legends guys, but I'm thinking of Riot now that I think about it. I'm just thinking of the show
maybe.
Arcane. Yeah, I don't know about these guys. These guys might be a C tier. I mean, I've
No,
heard Dishonored was good, but like
I
Redfall
played
is
Dishonored. I have not played Dishonored 2, but I have played Dishonored. And you know what? As somebody who grew up too young to have played Thief, but old enough to have heard a lot about it, this was what Thief could have been. Like this was really fucking good.
okay. I mean, I have heard good things, but Redfall is an
Like,
infamously bad game.
I mean,
They're
look,
making
is
Marvel's
anything
Blade.
is anything good anymore?
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. Like games, good games exist. Like they do exist. We'll get to good developers later on. Like Deathloop, I've
Either
heard was
way,
good.
I don't think these are C tier because these people are doing
B,
interesting things.
B, and B.
Yeah,
We'll
I'll
do
put them in.
do B because Atlas. This is Persona. This is Shin Megami Tensei. This is an RPG developer. This is an RPG developer. I have more to say about this than I think you do, and I have like nothing to say about them because I don't play a lot of the games. But I know you don't play RPGs, so or
So
like JRPGs.
I have.
Look at that.
Oh, they make the Persona.
Yeah, they make Persona, they make Shin Megami Tensei. Their newest game was Metaphor ReFantazio, which came out this year. Um, yeah, this is them. I think my opinion is that I think Atlas makes the most tight, solid RPGs, JRPGs, when compared to like Square Enix, because they're basically Atlas and Square Enix are basically the only people who make JRPGs. Everything
I
else
have
is
more
owned by
experience
them.
with with Squenix than I am
Same,
with
same.
with.
Mostly because Square Enix has a lot of power outside the West, but
These people do
in the West,
Catherine.
they make what?
Did these people do Catherine?
I
That's
don't
fucked
know.
up.
Um, Atlas, I think is A because the Shin Megami Tensei series is pretty solid, and the Persona series is pretty solid.
These are just weebs.
This is a Weeb developer, but like
This is a weeb
This
developer. In
like,
my
but they
opinion, it
haven't
doesn't
made
matter.
like they haven't made stinkers. Like the games they make are
They
really
make
highly
they make the
enjoyed.
games for those people,
Yeah,
the people who
and
play them. Yeah,
those
I'm
people will
fucking
swear on
weeb.
their life that these games are really really good. So I'm gonna believe them and say that made hey Atlas is an A-tier studio. Like you don't hear these people say shit that the people say about Bethesda or like EA. So like I'm assuming this developer's pretty good.
Here's
I don't have that much
here's
exposure.
my question now, right? Is fucking Squeenix even on this list?
They are. They're right down here. And I
Okay,
have opinions on the
okay.
Square Enix because I have played plenty of, not plenty of, but I've played more Square Enix games than I have Atlas games. So I do have thoughts on Square Enix. Um,
Squeenix, gotta love it.
I do have opinions. I have some nice opinions and some bad
Bandai
opinions.
Namco,
Bandai Namco is another one of those ancient ones. So Bandai Namco is
they've been around forever.
they're an ancient one. They're Pac-Man. Yeah, they are Pac-Man. They're Pac-Man. They're Pac-Man. Oh, I don't want to go to their website. Oh, I guess we could see what they've made here. They're advertising the Death Note Among Us game.
Oh my god.
It's just a social deduction game. People are calling it Death Note Among Us because Death Note kind of is Among Us. As in there's a traitor. It's like the classic like Trouble in Terrorist Town, Witch of Salem like type of shit, you know. Uh but yeah, Bandai Namco publishes more than they develop. Like they publish the Souls series. I think they publish Soul Calibur. I don't think they develop Soul Calibur. I don't think they developed Tekken. They might develop Tekken.
I remember seeing Namco taking stuff back then
Ace Combat, Dark Souls. Again, this is not developed. This is published.
because they've these are one of those mega studio things.
Yeah, this is like
This is just an evil corporation. This isn't even the company that makes the games. This is just the evil corporation that owns the companies that makes these games.
yeah, but they do
They own them
develop
like
some.
sweatshops.
Yeah, I'm gonna rate
They
Bandai
own
Namco C.
this is a fucking
Because
oh, I
most
didn't even put them down to D.
D. Okay, that's fair.
They fucking
I don't
evil
have anything to really argue
corporation.
with that.
And you know what?
Bethesda.
Thinking about
Bethesda.
I've such a I've such a relationship
Bethesda.
with Bethesda because I feel like I got the best of Bethesda, and
Oblivion.
that's Oblivion and New Vegas.
That's Obsidian though. We're talking about developers only. That's Obsidian.
I know, but
The thing with Bethesda for me is that I grew up with Bethesda games also. Like basically as a kid, my most played game was Fallout 3. Now I played
that's
that game.
surprising.
Maybe Fallout 3 or Minecraft are the two games that I played so much. So I have a lot of and
Uh,
as I got older, I loved Fallout 4 when it came out. I loved a lot of Bethesda's
it,
out at the time. Skyrim, I had a lot of fun with when I first played. Never actually beat it though. And then obviously New Vegas is
before
also great.
Skyrim, I was a big fan and spent many hours in Oblivion, and that to me, look, Skyrim's been re-released and re-released and re-released, and they've killed the soul of the game through everything. And it it isn't as deep as people think it is.
No.
But Oblivion really did pull me in.
Yeah, Oblivion and I also want to say Morrowind too are really like immersive and like they have a vibe and air to them that really just sucks you into it and wants you to keep existing there. It's kind of like the same pull that I get when I think about like the Lord of the Rings movies. Like it's a fantasy setting that I'm just like, oh, I could just get so into this and just think about how cool a lot of this stuff is. Like you've explained to me a lot of cool things about the world of the Elder Scrolls universe, and I'm just like, oh, that's so creative, that's so cool, and it shows that Bethesda has stuff there. Like Bethesda's not an F tier company in terms of their whole output as a history. Talk about current stuff at Bethesda's like an F. Like if we talk about current
The
things,
thing is,
but we're trying to take the history as a whole of the
I'm
company.
just gonna say somebody needs to Todd Howard down. Tell him to stop.
I think Todd Howard needs to
Just
step
stop.
down.
Just
He just
stop,
needs to stop.
Todd.
He just needs to be done.
Somebody needs, and I would be happy to do it, but I'm not somebody Todd listens to. So friends of Todd, family of Todd, you need to tell Todd to stop.
I like how you.
Please, 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 please tell him
I
to
like
stop.
how you word that. Like he's not someone. I'm not someone he listens to. As if like you've had conversations with him before and have had this talk with him before. That's really funny.
I look, there's an assumption there, but either way, somebody needs to sit him down, and it can't be me.
You're
I would
becoming a
love to do it.
robot. You're becoming a robot.
I need to pee.
You need to pee?
I do.
Okay, we'll go pee real quick.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're back. The next studio up is. Oh wait, we have to rank Bethesda. Hold on, we have to rank. We didn't actually rank Bethesda. B.
Let's see.
Bethesda and B, because if we're going by their whole output, if they didn't do all the stuff that they did like 2018 onwards of just Fallout 76, a million re-releases of Skyrim,
I will say one thing
what the fuck is the
that'll
game's
knock
name?
it down.
Starfield.
I will say one thing that'll knock it down to D.
D.
Horse armor.
No, shush, you fucking memeing.
Well,
You're
I
memeing.
have a point.
You do. It is
Point.
kind of like the first instance of overpriced DLC.
It is they wanted you to pay for mods.
Absolutely. They still do that now with the Creation Club. I think it's gotten worse since recently though. I think a grievance of mine with Bethesda recently is how when the Fallout show came out, they went back to Fallout 4 and forcefully updated the game to have all this fucking dog shit included. Like it was called the next gen update, where they tried to bring the game up to like next gen standards, and it just ruined every mod. It ruined and a lot of those mods still haven't been fixed because those mods were kind of left dormant since like 2018 because the game hasn't been updated. They're like, okay, we can move on to other things now. This game is not going to receive any more updates. They move on to other things. But like, no, now a lot of those mods are fucked and they're not going to get fixed. The content added is annoying. It's stupid. Like a lot of it's like stupid fucking like new quests that pop up and they're forcefully given to you, which I fucking hate that. I hate it when games like Bethesda games forcefully give you quests that aren't DLC quests like New Vegas does, where it'll just pop up in your fucking shit. It's horrible. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Unleashed. The coffee's become unleashed.
I have become
So
unleashed. I despise the next gen update. But it's shit like that that keeps Bethesda out
so
of. Well, no, because if we take a history of Bethesda, like Morrowind, Oblivion, even Fallout 3,
can't keep. Look,
Bethesda's shackled to its
look,
past. It's B.
I stand by my C. I stand by my vote.
There are other companies that go in C. Blizzard is F. I mean, like, no, because if we're talking about the history of the company as a whole, it's like at most. Because Blizzard defined like PC gaming for like a long time.
So, how much do you know about the internal and background workings of Blizzard?
Sexual harassment.
And
Um, Sexual harassment too.
you know all those stories about bad workplace conditions
It
for
is
game
it
developers?
is
A lot
literally
of those were
Blizzard.
invented and then perfected by Blizzard.
Yeah, either that or Konami. Konami and Blizzard hanging out here. Worst in the West and worst in the East coming together. The big bad wolf and the goddamn Gargamel from the Smurfs. Two most evil
Konami is
forces
doing
coming together.
anything that any other self-respecting Japanese company isn't doing, including the little love child you have.
Love Child. You mean Kojima Productions?
No,
We talk
I'm
about.
talking about Nintendo.
Oh, I thought you were talking because you're kind of cutting out a bit with the becoming Robo Jade. I thought you were talking about Konami's Love Child, and I thought you were talking about Kojima Productions. We'll get to Nintendo when we get to Nintendo, but Blizzard, if we go solely on their recent actions, Blizzard is an F tier. If we go by their company as a whole, I'm gonna say this is not a C tier as in like, oh, they're average. This is a C tier as in like they've done some really good stuff, but they're so shackled down by all the. Actually, I'm gonna give them a D. I'm gonna give them a D because I don't think their best is even
I
actually that great.
think F tier.
F tier.
Because
Yeah,
if you knew how bad
yeah,
it
okay.
got the people who worked for Blizzard,
Plus, I think what they've done recently with a lot of their projects has been so bad. Like from a game development standpoint, it's been so bad that I think it actually like tarnishes the reputation of the company. Bungie. I have a lot of history with Bungie. They make Halo and they did Destiny. And those are two game series that I played a lot of. At least Destiny 1. I didn't really play Destiny 2, but Destiny 1 I did play a lot of when it came out. That was
Destiny
11 years
as a
ago.
franchise was always from its very inception into popular media, I was just not attracted to at all.
It was
I didn't
I
like
as a
anything
kid,
about it.
I didn't because this game came out 11 years ago. I was 9 when Destiny came out. When Destiny came out, I didn't understand who the game was for. I didn't realize. I thought I was trying to go into it thinking it was Halo. I didn't really know it's kind of like got like not like it's got like it's become Destiny 2 is basically known as just one of the big shooter games like Call of Duty Warzone and like fucking shit like that. Like it's just that. That's all Destiny is. And then raids. And as a kid, I kind of went into it thinking it would just be another Halo single player game. So like, I tried playing it from that sort of view, and I enjoyed it from that. But I'm not the target audience for Destiny. Halo, however, I think Halo's amazing. And now, mind you, this is Halo 1, 2, 3, Reach, ODST. This isn't 4, 5, Infinite, or whatever the fuck.
I
This is the
think
good Halos.
liking Halo is very Xbox coded, and Xbox is a very American thing, and I didn't have an Xbox.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
I never played or experienced the Halo games outside of my only connection with Halo for many, many years was Red versus Blue.
And you like Red versus Blue.
Yeah.
So they have plenty of Red versus Blue references in the Halo games.
What I've also learned is that the plot of the Halo games are just as dumb as the plot of Red versus Blue.
It's about religious extremism being bad. It's about
The lead character,
uh
Master
okay,
Chief.
yeah, but yeah, you need a little silliness for things to be good, all right? And I think the Halo story is pretty fucking cool. It's just cool. It's
It's
cool.
coming from
It's
somebody who
dumb fun.
defends Star
It's
Wars.
dumb. We're not getting into Star Wars. That's a whole different fucking can of worms
This
with
is
you.
coming from somebody who defends Star Wars.
Bungie's
Capcom.
Bungie's A. Capcom. Okay, so Capcom is like as old as Bandai Namco, but Capcom actually does shit. I can name several Capcom
I
franchises.
yes, but I also have an issue with Capcom.
What is your
Just
issue with Capcom?
How many Street Fighter 2s are there?
A million.
Just the
Okay, this is like a
two.
dumb thing though. That's like the 90s. That's like 90s dumbness. That's like the 90s Skyrim. Like, yes, there's a million Street Fighter 2s, but
They're
also like
still making Street Fighter 2s. What do you mean the 90s? They haven't stopped. They will never
okay,
stop.
that's
There will
because they
always
still as
be
long as it's
some
being played
Street
at
Fighter
as
2
long
X2
as
and
long as
number
it's
2.
as long as it's still being played as Evo, there's going to be more Street Fighter 2s, and they're never going to stop playing it at Evo. So, uh, I
But
think
yes,
so.
as far as I know, they're just like your general crappy.
They're not crappy. They make Resident Evil, which the recent Resident Evils have been great.
Where are
They've
they based?
what? They're based in Japan.
Where, that's the problem.
Okay,
Company
but like
culture there is different.
I'm
Like
aware
they're
of the
not.
company environment, but we're trying to mostly look at this from a video game perspective.
Okay.
This is like I'm not is like
I
because
don't know. I mean B tier then.
B tier is fair. They hit some real big highs. Um, but
But they ride those highs
they're not
to finish.
consistent.
At some point, you have to understand. You at some point,
There's a
you've worn
bar.
out your welcome.
Yeah. CD Project Red.
CD
This
Project
is an
Red.
interesting one because they don't have that big of an output. We can name like it's easy, very easy to name every single CD Project Red game. They made the Witcher games. They did Cyberpunk 2077. Um, Witcher is their first game. They're based in Poland, so they went for that
So
first. And like, yeah, that's basically all they've done. All they've done is Witcher and Cyberpunk.
I don't. I don't like The Witcher, but not not really even so from a gameplay perspective as much as like this didn't call to me at all. Like this, I had no opinion about The Witcher for the longest time until it suddenly became the biggest fucking franchise. You know,
That's very fair. The
like
Witcher, The Witcher is like I haven't played these games. I've heard so many people say Witcher 3 is like the greatest game of all time. Nah, I can't obviously it's 10 years old. Wow. I can't attest to that statement, but Cyberpunk 2077 is one of my favorite games ever made. So, I do kind of that's the only thing I have to work on with Witcher, and this game is really with CD Projekt Red, and this game is really good. I think.
and they remaking
Oh, they
the
are
game.
remaking the first Witcher game. No, they're not. There's a company called Fool's Theory that they're publishing, but they are making
Uh,
Witcher 4 that just got announced at the Game Awards.
okay, but as far as I can tell, they are very competent in what they
Oh,
do.
they're
Like
so good at what
regardless
they
of
do.
what franchise you're talking about, they are incredibly good. Because I am interested in playing Cyberpunk. If I had it, I would play it. But
It's a
the
really good
thing
game.
is, like, they seem very competent at what they do. I just haven't liked their main franchise. Maybe I'll like Cyberpunk.
That's fair. That's fair. I think because you haven't experienced a CG Project Red game, you can't really like give a fair assessment. I'm gonna go as far as to say on Cyberpunk alone, S tier.
Uh, okay.
I think that
Okay.
because the type of game they do is Bethesda's style, where it's like that Western RPG, an open world, go out and explore, go to the town, do the quests. It's perfected that style of game. It is a really good.
It was one of the big three doing that style, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's them, Bethesda, and Ubisoft.
No, talking about Fable.
Oh, Fable. Oh, you're right. I was thinking of just like the open world RPG because Ubisoft does that with Far Cry, kinda. But oh my god, I completely forgot Fable existed. What a dead franchise. What a,
Is it dead for good or
it's
bad reason, though?
probably bad because I've heard some bad things
I
about
think
Fable
it's made
3.
by Win. I think it was
It,
made by weirdos. Is that's mainly the
yeah, I
problem.
completely forgot
People
Fable
need to
existed.
accept because
I don't even think Fable's developers are on here. I forget who developed Fable.
why do this is gonna sound like a really controversial question
Playground.
to ask. Why do so many girls like Fable?
Why do so many girls like Fable? I have no idea. I've never met anyone who likes Fable. I've only seen people online like Fable.
I've known people in real life who are
Lionhead.
big Fable Lionhead, yeah.
Lionhead. Black and White.
Who did it?
Um,
Peter
yeah.
Molyneux. That's the motherfucker. This is Peter Molyneux.
Oh my god, yes, this guy. This is the guy who did
This guy.
it's the guy who did what's it fucking called?
Dungeon
The
Keeper.
that like scam
Optimized.
that scam for the Xbox Connect with the kid. You remember that? The kid like
What?
the Xbox
Wait,
Connect is that's Peter Molyneux, right?
I don't think that's this is the
Amiga. Amiga's come up twice now. Populous Dungeon Keeper, Black and White, Steam Park's Fable, Curiosity, What's the Abuse, Godus. I don't know. I'm thinking
very
of
rare
Project Milo.
cut.
I'm thinking of Project Milo. This he I think he was behind this. Um it was one of those Xbox Connect things where you get to interact with a child, but it was a complete
That's
scam. Like it was the infamous video where it's like clearly a pre-programmed thing and they're trying to like, pass it off as that woman interacting with the kid in real time. Anyway, Lionhead is not on here because they are a dead studio. Dice. Dice. They
right.
make Battlefield.
Oh, there is those people.
I don't know what else they make. I think they just do. They did Battlefield, Mirror's Edge, and the Star Wars Battlefront games. They are the people who have Frostbite. So if we include Frostbite, Frostbite has made some neat little games. Oh, that's the engine. Sorry, I'm thinking Frostbite Labs. Frost
Wait. I'm doing some like back research here. They're a division of EA.
Vancouver. I'm sorry, I missed what you said. You said VA.
EA.
Oh yeah, EA. Yeah, they're EA. Yeah, Dice is an EA company, but they make their own. Like it's a
An extension of EA.
well, no, because EA is like how Bandai is, where they don't really make the games. They have a million studios beneath them, like EA Sports and Dice, that actually develop the games, and EA just publishes them. So like Dice is their developer, EA
Okay.
Sports is their developer. Like um
Yay.
yeah, EA
Yay.
sucks. Um, but
Dice.
Dice is
Dice.
like D at its best and D at its worst. I'm gonna put them in C.
I'm gonna say that the original Mirror's Edge, just gonna say that that really was a much better game than the people were ready for at the time.
I've heard that a lot. I think Battlefield 1 is not the first Battlefield, but it is in like
I think I
Battlefield,
know
yeah, the game
you.
Battlefield 1 is my favorite shooter, is one of my favorite shooters of all time. That game is so good. I have so many fond memories of that. It's a really good game. Got a lot of tonal issues, but it's a really good game. But Dice's output for the most part is just average. Like it's just kind of at times it's lesser Call of Duty, at times it's better Call of Duty. It really just kind of depends on what at contemporary like at that past like which game
What
was
the meta
competing. But
is
like back
for shooter
but in
games.
the back in looking back, the best Call of Duty games are better than like the average Battlefield game, and the average Battlefield game or the best Battlefield games are like there's only a few. There's only a
There's
few.
only
And it's like Battlefield 1 and like Battlefield 4 and like that's it.
yeah, no, I'll allow them in C tier.
Yeah. EA Sports. Solely because I despise how sports games do their release schedule releases. F. Like
You
just
know, you have a good point there.
everything that because the original way sports games worked is reasonably fair because sports have new rosters for their players every single season, and if you release if the game once a year with that new updated roster, new players, and you can't update your system because it's a fucking Sega Genesis or it's a PS1 or whatever the fuck, Fine, go ahead, good. Release a new game every year. Since the Xbox 360 era, this is a
Since
crime.
DLC,
Ever since
since
DLC, ever since on updates,
season passes.
updating your game has become a thing. This is a crime. This is a crime. They should
Yeah,
release these like at most 3 times a generation for consoles. At
like
most.
there should be updates to a base game.
Like there's no
It's just
reason
roster
there's no
changes. You
reason
don't need a
why.
whole new game with like new mechanics, and you know how pissed people are every time you notch the controls. It's like, oh, we added a new feature, but this needed us to refactor the controls
Yeah,
completely. So
it's
now
such a
the game
stupid
you
fucking
spent a
game.
year investing your time learning how to play. Because I played a basketball game, for example, and it's like,
Oh, the NBA games they make are fucking evil. Like it's just like a spend money on our game, please. Type shit. Like, you must like walking
to be
around in
fair,
those real life worlds and
as far as I understand, EA lost a lot of the big titles to 2K.
yeah, 2K, they do the WWE games and I think they do hockey. I think they do hockey. I don't know though. They do WWE, I know that. Um and
They
then
do NBA as
MLB the
well.
show is done by that's a PS exclusive MLB until recently because baseball is just so big that you kind of can't limit it to PlayStation. But I forget who develops MLB, but it's not EA
They
Sports.
even did cricket games. I
I'm not
played like
surprised by the
cricket
cricket games. I'm
games.
not surprised by that. Cricket's huge. Um,
Even rugby. I remember they
not
had a
surprised
few
either.
rugby games as well.
Epic. So Epic isn't just Fortnite. Let's be real here. I believe Epic also did Gears
You
of War.
know, you know exactly what I'm going to talk about.
You're gonna talk about the Epic launcher. I don't know.
Uh,
Yeah, Gears of.
Unreal Tournament.
Oh, oh, I've completely Unreal Tournament, Gears of War,
Give me
Infinity
my
Blade,
game.
and Fortnite.
I will pay you for Unreal Tournament 3. Make it purchasable on a platform, any platform, your platform. Great. I don't care. Just
Disney Disney
make
owns
Unreal Tournament
nine
3 happen again.
Disney owns 9% of the company. How the fuck did that happen?
Disney, tell them to do it. Walt,
Tencent owns
Walt,
35%.
rise, Walt.
And then there's the
Walt
founder owns.
Disney and the Chinese will come together.
Yeah,
So
I
yes,
mean for the people
they
who
are
made the
below
Unreal
F.
Engine.
They are so below F to me.
So but that's because of one business decision, not because of the games they've made. Remember, we're trying not to think of this as business decisions or workplace environments. We're trying to think of the games they do and how they, I mean, to an extent, how they sell the games and
Think
their business models and stuff play a
about the
factor.
precedent of them just going, yeah, you can never buy this game again.
Yeah, that's bad,
Like
but like that's
them
not an
just
F
deciding
tier. That's not an F. That's like a D tier decision. That's not
you
F
can't
tier. F tier
play
is
your
like
game.
F tier is like harvesting money out of your player base and selling like being like just so abysmally bad. Like that's just a really fucking stupid situation that
The existence of
is
the
really
Epic
dumb.
Store is that.
I just don't think it's like an F tier decision, especially
Let's
because
let's ask an honest question then, right? Because it's come up in lawsuits and stuff recently. Do you think that Valve gives people a fair deal with Steam
yeah,
as developers?
Steam is a great deal for everyone involved.
Like the
Everyone
developers,
wins
everyone wins. Why the fuck does the Epic Store
for
exist?
free games. For the free games they give you. That's why the Epic Store exists. The Epic Store exists to play Epic games and to get the free games that they give you. That's why Epic Store exists. Like I own Control and Dredge for free because Epic put them on there like recently, and I was like, oh, I want those two
Same,
games.
same. And I've had Control for a long time. But here's the thing: the only reason you get free games on Epic is so that they can make sure that their software is installed, because that's how they make
Exactly.
their money.
Exactly. I guess like I'm gonna put Epic in D though because I do like Gears of War. So I can't. I mean, like they haven't been as horribly bad as Blizzard and EA with how they handle, or EA Sports specifically with how they handle their games being released and stuff.
Well,
But
I'd make it
it's pretty
official that you own like Gears of War, because one day they're just gonna say, nope, you can't
I
have it
I own it. I
anymore.
own it physically. I own Gears of
Yes,
War
that's not
physically.
gonna be enough. You're gonna need to register that shit to your name on an account. Steam
uh, from Software S, just
from Soft.
absolutely S. Like this is undeniably an S tier company. This
Are
Souls,
they?
no, this is one I will undeniably die on the hill of. This is like a generationally defining output of games. The Soulsborne series is their events when these games come out. Elden Ring alone was like the like it was it's so good that
Yeah.
one of its DLCs was considered game of the year for this year. A DLC.
Look, they are consistent because people can go
So
back
good.
from Elden Ring. People who now have been introduced to FromSoft from Elden Ring can go back and play like the original Dark Souls, and you know
It's a consistently
they are consistent.
top tier output. And even their games from before the Souls era, like they're not bad. Like Armored Core is still fun. They're just not like generationally funny. Like those are just A tier games. But like the Soulsborne series alone, which is basically all they do now, except for Armored Core 6, which was also an S tier game.
Why would they do anything else?
I mean, they wouldn't. Miyazaki, the guy who makes these games, I forget his first name. It's not the Studio Ghibli one. um, the Miyazaki here, he's like a passionate game developer and like director for this series. So like, of course they're not gonna let this guy go. Like he makes fucking incredible games with like a lot of like uh like when Dark Souls 1 came out, Demon Souls more so, but Dark Souls kind of like Demon Souls was a little bit of like an experiment in the process, but Dark Souls was like a full like putting our full effort into this and perfecting the formula like on the second go around. Like Demon Souls is fine and all, but Demon Souls has aged kind of poorly. But it was like a lot of people have nostalgia for it. I hear a lot of people like it a lot and stuff. I personally not the biggest fan, but Dark Souls is so good. From Software is an S tier company. Gearbox. I
Gearbox.
believe this is a slop company.
This is absolute
This
trash.
is a slop company if I remember.
Aliens,
Oh,
Colonial Marines,
yeah. Borderland,
Duke Nukem,
Duke Nukem. They made the
Borderlands.
Half-Life expansions. Uh,
Look,
Brother
those
in
aren't based.
Arms, Aliens, Cologne. This is a slop. But this isn't like offensively bad like these are. This is just slop.
Colonial Marines. Do you know how angry I
I am
was
aware.
around for it? Do
I
you
am
know
aware.
how angry people were?
I am aware. I remember I grew up in that. I grew up in that era of YouTube. That's like what I would watch as like YouTubers' content at the times was making fun of aliens, colonial marines. I'm seeing that as like 8 years old and stuff. So like I know how bad that situation was, but
So
like
I
I
think F
think
tier.
F tier's fair.
Duke Nukem.
Duke Nukem Forever is also one of those games. Yeah, okay. Now I'm thinking about Duke Nukem and Forever and Aliens, Colonial Marines. I believe this came out in the same year, 2013. That's a bad lineup for a year. That's like too like defining like historical video game flops and like disappointments.
And then your main franchise being Borderlands. Like,
Borderlands.
let's,
Ooh,
like, fucking
that's
Borderlands.
kind of sad. Insomniac. They make the Spider-Man games. That's all they do. They make the new Spider-Man games and they're making the Wolverine games. I've also they do. Oh wait, they also did Spyro and Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, these
Okay.
guys.
Okay, so yeah,
Old Sony classics.
yeah. So they made Spyro, they made Ratchet and Clank, and nowadays they make Spider-Man, and they're making the Wolverine game stuff. Okay,
Like these,
I feel
they do their thing. They
this
do their
yeah.
thing.
This is like solid A tier. You know, they haven't done
Yeah,
anything too offensive. They just make good games. They just make fun games, and you can't
they
fault them.
make games people can play.
They make fun playable games. Here's a company I have a lot to say about. Fuck. Fuck Konami so much.
Yes,
They hate themselves. They hate them. They hate their games.
they hate money.
They hate their games. They hate their games. When is the last time there has been? I'm surprised the Silent Hill remake even ever got made. Like, I'm surprised that game ever got made. They don't do anything with Metal Gear Solid. They don't do anything with. I mean, I don't want to do anything with Metal Gear after they got rid of Kojima. They muscled Kojima out. They don't do anything with Silent Hill. They don't do anything with Castlevania. They don't do anything. They don't do fucking anything. Fuck
Yeah,
this
but
stupid company.
like
They make pachinko
think about it this
machines.
way. You know, this is even worse, right? This is even worse because what is the what was the take of Silent Hill 2 remake?
It was that it wasn't as good as the first game because it didn't have the
You
fucking
took
sauce, you
the
know.
legacy of one of the greatest games ever made. Like every
I
single
think
reviewer, every single game player who goes back and plays the original Silent Hill 2 fucking loves it
because
for
it's
all
terrifying.
of the good and bad.
All you have to say about the remake
For
compared
all
to the
of the
original,
stuff being trash, all of the stuff.
look at the original's remake or look at the original's cover compared to the remake's cover.
Yeah,
There's a complete style. Like, this is unnerving. This makes you uncomfortable. This has like a flash bulb sort of effect
like
going on here, and it's got
the
like
original
off
Silent Hill
coloring, a very
2
disgusting
wasn't
green compared to a
like the original.
sanitized, clear.
It
Everything's
wasn't
clear.
out to shock you because you were you. It was doing its own thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's Konami's F. And also Castlevania. They don't do fucking anything with Castlevania. I'm not even that big of a Castlevania fan, but Castlevania has such a cool style, and I love the style of it. And they just don't do
yeah, but I'm looking forward to it
anything with it. They just make fucking pachinko
because that
machines.
property, because that type of property is so open to interpretation. I feel like we've gotten a good amount of variations on a theme there.
Yeah, it's just like
Other people
blah.
are doing it better now.
Larian's S.
Larian's
Larian's
S.
the reason why
We
we did
know that.
this. Larian's the reason why we did this. I just wanted to put Larian in S. Larian is
Yes,
so good.
Larian is absolutely double S tier. They are
Baldur's
doing
Gate 3
things.
alone. Baldur's Gate 3, and I've heard some great things about Divinity Original Sin. That's
Baldur's Gate 3 updates alone.
Baldur's Gate's so good. Uh, Naughty Dog. So Naughty Dog is another PlayStation darling. You know, they make
I have a split
Uncharted,
opinion on Naughty
they
Dog.
do Last of
I
Us,
have a
Crash
split
Bandicoot.
opinion on Naughty Dog.
You love Crash
I
though.
have That's the split opinion. Is that I think that Naughty Dog were at their best doing like Crash Bandicoot and Jack and Daxter and that sort of stuff. And when they started becoming like the the studio that does The Last of Us, you know, like Uncharted
Yeah,
was
but
the
these games aren't
beginning
bad
of it.
though. It's just a
But
style that's not what they
they're
used to do.
so milquetoast. Like after the fact, like they have their shocking moments, but then it just feel like
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like these games kind of set the standard of this type of game. Like The Last of Us and Uncharted kind of created this genre of the movie game where it feels like you're in a movie.
yeah.
They created that genre next to like David
But
Cage games and
is
stuff.
that a good genre?
No, it's not. But these
I
games aren't
think that
bad though.
the
Because
original trilogy,
these games aren't movie. Because the thing is, these games created that genre, but that genre developed into having no fucking gameplay. But these games have gameplay. That's the thing. Like, these games are games.
the original trilogy of Crash Bandicoot, number 2, Cortex Strikes Back, and number 3, Warp,
They didn't do number
are,
three.
are the They did three.
No, they didn't. It's Crash Team Racing, and then Crash Warped, which is oh, is that not a racing game? Oh, it is not.
Warped is three.
I thought Warped was a racing game because they were on bikes,
No, no, they are bike levels. It's the thing. The game was amazing.
and then they did Jack and Daxter,
Like
which I have absolutely
I
no history
never
with.
I never got into the Jack and Daxter games, but
God,
as far as I could understand, like it was meant to be like the Crash Bandicoot type or the Ratchet and Clank type, but darker,
yeah, that's what kind of looks like.
like edgier
Here's the
version
thing with
of
Naughty
all
Dog
that.
though. They went uninterrupted. The Crash series, okay, we're done with that. The Jack and Daxter series, okay, we're done with that. Uncharted, okay, we're pretty much done with that. They did Uncharted 4, which ended Uncharted, but in between that they did Last of Us. And then now they do Last of Us. Like they're pretty solid in their like PlayStation defining series,
There's
PlayStation defining
nothing.
series,
There's
PlayStation defining series, PlayStation defining
yeah,
series.
they are that studio. They are. If like they're a bigger part of Sony's success than Sony will ever fucking give them credit for, to be real.
Yeah.
Like people got PlayStations to play The Last of Us for themselves.
People got PlayStation to play Crash. People got PlayStations to play Uncharted. People got PlayStations to play Last of Us. Like, people got PS5s to play Last of Us 2. Like, well, I guess Last of Us 2 is a PS4 game, but it's at the tail end of its life, so. 2020, I think at this point the PS5 had come out. The game was just designed for the PS4, so it released on it. Naughty Dog is like, I don't have any personal attachments to this studio, but they are definitely an A tier studio. Like,
Yeah,
their PlayStation's Bungie.
yeah, you could say so.
So I think they go together because they kind of did
I
the same thing.
think in that regard, they're more successful than
Yeah,
Bungie
because Bungie only ever had one studio for Microsoft, but that's mostly because they
because
had a smaller time with Microsoft. Like
what I
their time
love
with
seeing
Microsoft is very actually short,
is
10 years, not even.
when we used to see like top 10 lists of like top 10 Xbox games,
All Halo, all Halo, Gears of War,
and
and
you
Forza.
see like PlayStation games at the top of the list.
Oh yeah, like a formerly exclusive game comes over or something.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
just, oh, this game released on PlayStation 6 months ago, but now you can play it on your
as
Xbox. And the
as
best game on your Xbox is
as
a PlayStation game.
I grew up with the Xbox. I grew up on Halo and Xbox 360 edition Minecraft and like all the Bethesda games on Xbox. But looking back as an adult now, PlayStation just had a much better output of games. You had God of War, Crash Bandicoot, Uncharted, Spyro. Like there's
Mortal
just
Kombat,
Well, I mean,
Tekken.
Mortal Kombat and Tekken aren't exclusives, but they are definitely made for those consoles. Any studio
The thing
that
is,
is
those
based in
games
Japan,
existed on PlayStation
any stu
before
well,
Xbox existed.
yeah, but also
You know what I mean?
any
They weren't
studio,
exclusive.
any studio based in Japan would primarily develop for PlayStation because PlayStations are basically the adult console in Japan. Xboxes don't exist in Japan. So any
Yeah, well,
studio,
why would you buy an inferior console?
yeah, like as
Ah, I
is,
got you saying it. I got you
I
saying it.
I'm the first to admit that I think the Xbox 360 is great, but I don't think the PlayStation 3 is all that good. The PlayStation 3 kind of sucks. Can we admit that the PlayStation 3 sucks? It's not even backwards compatible because of how bad this PS3 is. That it's not backwards compatible with the PS4 because of how poorly designed a console it
The
is.
3 was the last one I
That thing
had
was like
in
$800 when
my
it came out too.
collection,
It's like
so
it's so fucking expensive. That thing's a piece of shit. PS3 sucks.
it
PS4
was
though,
very
PS4 is pretty good.
powerful.
P-
I remember
PS4 is alright.
that they were trying to stop exports of the PlayStation 2 to the Middle East because they thought that was powerful enough to hack the Pentagon.
I mean, think about think about how like durable and like how long lasting those consoles are. I wouldn't be surprised.
The thing is
Uh,
that, like, I loved the PlayStation 2 as a console.
I
It was
never
a
had one.
perfect fucking
I need to get a
console.
PS2. It's like the only classic console I don't have. I have a PS1. My brother technically owns it. We have like a GameCube. We got a lot of the consoles from that era that I really want. I just need a PS2 so bad. If I got a PS2 and started collecting PS2 games, oh my god, I really want to play God of War on
They
on an
are
original.
some of the games of gaming.
They really are.
Like the Spyro series. Look, I didn't like Spyro personally, but that's just a personal preference thing. But I know that it is one of those like uh
Like classics,
fucking
classic.
classic. It defined a generation of people. Like Crash Bandicoot. I remember everybody would know Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
You know, like
Okay.
Tekken.
Nintendo.
Okay,
Nintendo. Okay. Let me lay out my argument.
no.
Let me lay out my argument because I know you hate Nintendo. Nintendo has a bad history with their games being exclusive. They have a bad consumer relations history. They have all of these decisions that are bad at Nintendo are done from the top down. These are not bad development decisions. These are bad game design decisions. These are bad company decisions. These are bad like CEO president positions because like decisions. As a developer, Nintendo has produced a lot of the greatest games ever made and a lot of the most important games ever made. And a lot of their like Nintendo, I think has the most amount of quality control, the most amount of quality series and like series that are actually worth anything. They put out a fuck ton of games because they're a massive studio. Granted, a lot of their biggest games are done by like subsidiary developers, like HAL Laboratories makes the Kirby games, and Pokemon Company makes the Pokemon games, or Game Freak. Sorry, Game Freak makes Pokemon. Pokemon Company does. Oh, Pokemon Company owns Game Freak, which is also partial. Game Freak is partially owned between three different
It gets
companies, including
complicated.
Pokemon's complicated.
Anyway, there's
Nintendo,
my argument.
Nintendo at its best is an S tier, and at its worst is like a C tier. Is my argument. Now you go.
Here's my argument. In order to play any of their games legally, you need to specifically buy their hardware.
And that's an issue. I understand. Yeah.
Locking out anybody who is not able to just drop a couple of 100,000.
Now you got to admit though, Nintendo's consoles are typically the cheapest ones out there, comparative to a PlayStation or an Xbox. It's kind of part of the decision you make when you're getting a console. Is
But it's also a decision that, like, if you get any of those PlayStation or Xbox games that do come to Nintendo systems, you are playing a very broken, janky,
not
low-grade
always.
version of the game.
That's definitely the case for most of Nintendo, but recently it's more so just you get less quality textures, but also you get the ability to play it on the go wherever you want. I think the issue with Nintendo is it's for a specific group of people that doesn't really interact with the people who get PCs and PlayStations and stuff. They're two different groups of people that
Like, remember,
don't really
I'm
overlap.
somebody who's traditionally a PC gamer. This
Hmm.
is this
I'm
is how I'm
traditionally
comfortable gaming.
a Nintendo gamer.
Which look, a PC gamer is somebody who goes exclusivity was,
Exactly. I'm a
like
console
there's
person. I was raised on Xbox and Nintendo. Specifically, I have
I
Nintendo
remember more than
specifically.
a decade ago, it would be within the same day that the PlayStation 3 is released that I'm watching people play PlayStation 3 exclusive games on their PC.
Hmm.
Like,
I just think I just think Nintendo, from a development standpoint, is a like what is the word like a not a pantheon, paragon? Is that a paragon? Is that the word? I don't know. I'm not good
there,
with words.
my Paragon is not the way I'd put it, but
They're a titan in like the sense of
a Titan
they've put
would
out like
be
Mario 64.
tyrannical.
No, but I'm talking about titan as in like a standard. It's like a Titanic, like huge. It's big.
Go big.
They're big. They've done like Mario series alone has put out like Mario Galaxy, Mario 64, Mario Worlds, fucking even Mario Wonder recently was a really great, like, solid game. The Zelda series, Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild. Fucking, you got Smash Brothers, you got the Donkey Kong series, you got Metroid. There's fucking games people don't give a shit about, but they're also so passionate about, like Star Fox and F Zero. Like, you got even the small ones have fan bases that'd eat you alive. Like that's it's a dedication to the bit. You know,
I
doesn't really say
invite
anything.
them to try this rat's foot. Either way, Nintendo bad.
No, Nintendo good. Nintendo A tier at I
You're a
won't say
Nintendo.
S.
No, you cannot put that. That hurts me. Oh,
Okay, but like,
oh.
okay, but like, I let you get away with a lot of slander for like Capcom and slander for FromSoft. I am not letting you
What
get a.
slander did I have for FromSoft?
You said you were like, I don't know about that when I was gonna put
How
it
is
in
that
S
slander?
because it's
This is why your country is right wing.
Nintendo's A tier. If we're going by historical precedent, it's fucking
No.
Nintendo saved video games. There wouldn't be fucking video games without
Did they save
Nintendo.
video games?
Because no, because the video game crash happened. Everyone fucking hated video games, and then they released the NES, and everyone bought video games again. They saved the video game industry like multiple
I said
times.
no.
They saved the
The
video game
video game
industry.
industry would have pulled back
No, it
one way or
wouldn't.
another.
Well, Nintendo's the one that did it. So like, yeah, Nintendo's the one that fucking saved it. We wouldn't have. They defined so many fucking shit on their console. And yeah, they have like a really archaic fucking sort of business and
You're
shit,
putting
but
me in physical pain
okay, well, you
in
decide.
eight
You
years.
just actually hold on. Respawn's pretty solid. Hold on, I was about to say you decide Respawn's fate, but I kind of want to like have my say in Respawn because Respawn they did Titanfall 2, and that game's like kind of fucking like amazing.
Titanfall series.
This
Apex.
is every game they've developed: Titanfall, Titanfall 2, Apex, and the Star Wars Jedi games. And also they made this one random Medal of Honor game that I think is a mobile game. I don't know. That's basically all they've done. Titanfall 2 is another one of the greatest shooters ever made. And Apex is probably the best of the Battle Royale games.
It is.
Yeah, it kind of is. At least in my opinion, like in terms of what I would want out of it, I think it straddles the line between having like a fun visual style and like interesting stuff and not because like cause the thing is like Valorant feels
Can I
boring.
say something about Apex?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not fun to watch.
It's not, no, but I've played it a few times and it's kind of fun to play, but I mean it's also just like I don't give a fuck about the genre. So like
Like,
that's
here's the
gotta that's what
thing
it boils down
is,
to.
I have certain streamers that I watch because I'm a fan, because I like watching.
Yeah.
So that's what I do with my time. And I have seen streamers I like play Apex, and it's just like that's the least fun thing to watch them play.
I think that's just down to taste, which I respect because I also don't give a fuck about Apex. But like, of the battle royales, I'd rather watch someone play it over that than like Fortnite or PUBG or Call of Duty Warzone. You know?
I think PUBG is not PUBG. I think Fortnite and PUBG as well. I just like what they are.
Yeah. Oh.
Like,
E. E.
if you put Nintendo in A, that still hurts me.
Riot.
Right.
They make League of Legends
Oh.
and
Oh.
also Valorant.
Oh. They make the
Tencent.
knockoff Blizzard games.
I think isn't League of
They're
Legends.
the
Oh, why does he have his own section here? What the fuck? Oh, that's a huge criticism.
click it.
In June 2020, Ron Johnson, Riot Games' global head of consumer products, shared a Facebook post that claimed George Floyd had been killed by police because of his criminal lifestyle. The company subsequently placed Johnson on leave to conduct an investigation, after which Johnson resigned from the company. After Russia launched an invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, Riot Games did not withdraw from the Russian market after being asked to do so by Ukrainian politician Mikhailo Fedorov.
Federal,
In March
right.
2022, Riot donated the processes of the battle passes sold in the sold of its games, as well as profit of the games to humanitarian relief funds. If you're buying the battle pass for fucking League of Legends and Valorant, you're funding humanitarian efforts for Ukraine.
God
What a
damn.
fucking insane Wikipedia article, though. That's kind of insane.
Yeah, no, this is why I say they
They're
just
a
make
10-cent
they're
company.
like they're a Tencent company. You know where I stand on these. They're like F tier all the way.
Yeah, but from a game design perspective, have they? They haven't. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna
They
defend the
make
fucking
Blizzard
guy.
knockoffs. They make
Ox.
Blizzard
All right,
knockoffs.
here's an interesting one. Rockstar.
What the fuck is Valorant?
It's CS:GO but
I know what
Chinese.
Valorant is, but
Oh,
that like you get my it's Overwatch but for CS:GO. They're just ripping on
where's the
look,
Wikipedia?
Rockstar
On the Wikipedia page.
Rockstar needs to bring back the old Rockstar again.
You mean like Bully?
I
Like
mean,
LA
like being
Noir?
the kind of studio who releases like Manhunt.
They kind. I mean, the thing is with Rockstar, they've just been working on GTA 6 for so long that they haven't put out anything else.
Yeah, but they didn't used to do that.
That's the and yeah. But like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. They haven't done anything, but also like these games are really good. Like
I
Red
mean,
Dead 2,
undeniably,
LA Noir,
Bully.
Bully, GTA 5, Max Payne. Like these are really good games. Rockstar's really solid.
Like for a going long way
Austin
back.
Powers, Oh Behave on the Game Boy Color, and Welcome to My Underground Lair on the Game Boy Color. Earthworm Jim 2 3D. Like this is a really solid company.
I mean, even just GTA being an accident.
Yeah, just GTA in general, like the whole GTA series is like it's honestly
And they
not
made the Warriors.
it's not respected as much as it should. Honestly, GTA.
Like at
They
this
made a
point in
game about
history,
the
the
Warriors.
Warriors video game, right? Made about the Warriors movie.
Apparently, I've been on this Wikipedia article. I don't remember ever opening
Well,
up.
I mean, I've probably spoken about the game and the
Maybe
movie before.
I know about the movie, but
Right. They made a video game,
yeah, just
and Rockstar
surprising.
was the ones who did it, and the
Very,
video game's good.
very surprising. It's a fucking game that came out like 25 years after the movie. It's weird.
And it's good. That's the
Oh,
most
they made
horrifying
the
fucking
original You
thing.
Don't Know Jack. I guess they didn't make it, but they published it. That's weird. Um, yeah, like Rockstar's just like rock. Can I say Rockstar's S?
You can, because at the end of the day, like it or not, even if you go all the way back to like GTA 3, was
It's still
transformative
solid.
for
It's
gaming.
still solid as fuck.
But like for its moment in time, if you look at
Yeah,
GTA 2 and then GTA 3, like
they are
it's
just kind of.
wild.
What is Santa Monica Studios? They sound really. Oh, God of War. They're God of War. But are they new God of
God.
War? They're no, they're just the God of War studio. All they do is God
They
of
are
War.
the God of they just do
And
God of War.
Connecticut.
So here's here's my take. They've done the Metallica thing.
What is the Metallica thing? There's a couple things I could think of for
They
Metallica.
they they grew sort of backwards, right? And then curved back in to go and grow up their own arse. Like, what the fuck is the new God of War game? He's got a kid and he's feeling guilty about stuff. It's
It's
just
called
like
character progression.
this is not why you played God of War game.
It's called Kratos was a father and he sacrificed his family's dead. And then eventually he has his chance at redemption, has a new family. It's a very comic
Hey
booky thing. It's a
son,
very
watch how I murder my way through
okay,
the
but
Norse
it's a very
pantheon.
comic
I
booky
did this
thing.
once before when I murdered my way through the Greek pantheon.
It's like a very
Don't
comic.
worry,
It's a comic
nothing
book.
bad happened.
It's very comic booky. It's very comic booky. It's the only way I can describe it. It's God of
It
War.
is the life story of a man who solves every fucking interaction with murder.
Okay, but like
Every single one is either trying to fuck something or murder something, and the only way to stay alive around him is
okay,
to keep pumping out
but it's
like
so cool. But it's so cool.
the new ones just piss me off, I guess.
Sega. Sega's wild.
Sega has been around and has been so many things at so many points in time.
Sega just makes
Sega
me
was a
laugh.
big contender in the console
Sega
market.
makes me laugh so much. They were a legitimate competition for one generation only, and then they fumbled the Sega Saturn so hard that the PlayStation, a new competitor, beat both Nintendo and Sega. Because like the N64 was a bad console for competition with like the other the N64 was like still running with cartridges. It was really exclusive. It had a really bad development kit and everything. People didn't want to make games for it. And then the Sega Saturn came out too late. It also sucked. And then the PlayStation was just like, yeah, no, fucking sweep this generation and
The,
shit.
the thing that made the PlayStation
And then
so
that killed
much more
Sega.
powerful was one simple change that all the other consoles came to far too late. Discs.
Yep, that's exactly the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like Sega Saturn came out too late, and N64 refused to use discs. They were still using cartridges. Like the
You were still like Nintendo went a mobile route for a long time.
you mean yeah, like with like handheld
The
consoles like the
Game
DS
Boy
and the Game Boy. That's
handheld.
that's where Nintendo really shines. Is like the fact that their stuff is always just kind of doing its own thing compared to the other consoles. Like the Wii
Yeah,
is
it's competing on a different
like
level. But
they're
like
not.
where we putting Sega, I
All
put
right, okay,
Sega at C.
Sega. Yeah, the best parts of Sega are like not
They
even that
are
good.
single-handedly responsible for every single furry that
I
exists.
no, they're not because that goes to things from before like the 70s and the 80s and stuff. So like
I blame Sega.
for
I don't
me,
care about the truth.
you blame Sega for my creation? Is this what you're saying? I didn't even grow up with the Sonic games that much. I played Sonic 2 on the Wii Virtual Console and I played Sonic Unleashed
The proliferation
and
of
Generations.
lewd
Oh,
Sonic
I did watch I did
fan
when I
art.
was like a child, I saw a lot of
The
Sonic porn.
prolifer That's there we go. You're
I
referring
saw a
now.
lot of Rouge the Bat porn when I was young.
I had the
I was
power
definitely
of
formative.
autism to keep me away from the furry porn.
But also autism attracts people to furry porn. There's a link between Sonic and autism. There's a video that I keep meaning
That's
to watch about it.
I know. I don't know about this because I have no
Chris Chan. That's all I have to
interest.
say. That's all I have to say.
Why are all the furries Chans?
Do you not know Chris Chan? That response makes me think you don't know Chris Chan.
Not off the top of my head, but I'm not going to dive into
That
that
is
rabbit hole because
that
we're going weeb next.
Chris Chan is a
We're going
whole
hard
nother
weeb.
hard weeb Squeenix Final Fantasy.
Squenix. Squenix.
Here,
Oh,
I think
this is a company
I think
who will
Square
do
Enix.
something so amazing and then fuck up all the
Yeah,
important bits.
yeah. Basically, my exact.
This is
This
an
is not
amazing
Don Money view
company
this
at
scroll.
like
Maybe a scroll.
grasping defeat from the jaws of victory.
Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and Kingdom Hearts. Already alone, three of the biggest RPG series of all time,
Deus
only
Ex.
rivaled. Oh yeah, Deus Ex. Also, I'm just talking about RPGs here. Those three series alone, only rivaled by Pokemon, Shin Megami Tensei, and Persona as like the RPG series that everyone plays. And those ones are
And no, there is
huge,
nothing more
huge.
iconic than Final Fantasy, right? As far as like Eastern
Um,
RPG.
I think worldwide Final Fantasy, but Japan really likes Dragon Quest, and
Look,
America really likes Kingdom
Japan,
Hearts.
America only likes Kingdom Hearts
It's
because
Disney.
like
It's Disney
Disney
and Final Fantasy
infected.
7. But like, I mean, I fucking adore Final Fantasy 7. I love that game
But
so much.
but but I like Square Enix games when I play them, but not turn-based.
Well, Final Fantasy technically isn't turn-based, because you
No,
go.
no, 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 no.
I know what you mean. I am an RPG person, so
Like,
I am
the
not
first
bothered by it.
Final Fantasy I played was 15.
Oh, you like that style of the Final Fantasy? So you would like the remake, this Final Fantasy 7 remake, is that basically plays like 15.
It has no turn-based bullshit.
I think that's a good evolution for the genre, but I'm not opposed to turn-based combat. I think the biggest thing that's wrong with the old style of RPGs, and it's still prevalent now, is grinding. I think grinding is the worst part of the RPG genre, but like it's kind of just accepted as a gameplay like point. I think Square Enix too also just makes a lot of games. Like they made Octopath Traveler, Triangle Strategy, um, Live Alive, or whatever the fuck. Like they make a lot of games that are all visually the same.
I think A tier though.
Yeah, like at their like it's next to Atlas. Like these two are like eternal rivals, constantly dueling in the sun. Sucker Punch. Here's another fucking. Here's an. Oh wait, Sucker Punch, Sucker Punch, Sucker Punch. No, it's the movie. That's the Zack Snyder movie. Productions. No, that's not the Wikipedia page. On here. Sly Cooper. Infamous. Ghost
Sly
of
Cooper.
Tsushima. This is a
Oh,
dead studio. Dead
this is
studio.
they just tried a bunch of things that got popular after the fact.
Sly Cooper, dead series that hasn't had a game since 2005. I didn't even know it was that long ago. I thought it was later. Oh, I thought it
No,
was on the
I remember
PS3. Oh
I
no.
remember Infamous being a thing,
Infamous.
but then like the franchise died near immediately.
Yeah, I remember Second Son when that came out. I remember that getting some like talk, but really nothing. And then Ghost of Tsushima, which was just kind of trying. I remember this people were saying this was trying to be Sekiro, one of the Souls games. Um, I haven't played it, and then they're making Ghosts of Yotei, which is a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, or at least in that series. I don't know if it's a direct sequel or not.
Yeah, it's a sequel to that pretty much.
It might just be a different. It's like
I
an
don't
Assassin's
know.
Creed. I don't know.
They
Eh,
seem
let's
like
see.
they seem very C tier to me.
Slop games. Ubisoft sucks. Fat
Mm,
fuck.
mm.
Ubisoft is horrible.
If not F, then D.
I just think
I,
this is horrible. This is
I would put an F actually. Now that I think
where's
about
their games?
it.
Yeah. Let's look at like their recent output of games. Um Tom Clancy's The Division. The
Trackmania.
Division 2 was one of the worst launches, or am I thinking of Division 1? Was one of the worst video game launches ever to exist. I might be thinking of The Division 1. Um
Trackmania, but
Watch
that's
Dogs
a
Legion
franchise
is
way.
another one of those infamously bad games. This is just from 2020s. Immortals Phoenix Rising was a dead on arrival, trying to be a new franchise. Absolutely fucking died game. Obviously the Far Cry games are their own dredged up dead horse that they're beating the shit out of over and over and over again. Um, Unironically, their greatest game at this point would probably be the fucking Mario and Rabbids sequel. I just again more
I,
Assassin's Creed slop. Skull and Bones, which has like 5 players. X Defiant, which was canceled recently. It was their live service game. It was like their Call of Duty competitor that they've cut all support for recently. So this game is dead. So that's Skull and Bones, X Defiant, both dead in 1 year. Beyond Good and Evil Anniversary Edition, which I'm pretty sure didn't work. You have Star Wars Outlaws, which is a slop fucking Star Wars slop game. There's absolutely nothing to it. And then you just have a million fucking re-releases of Tom Clancy games and shit. And Rainbow Six making it to fucking mobile. Fuck that. Why the fuck is it not mobile? Ubisoft is F. They're F. Even
Yeah,
even if we weren't even talking about their slop games, the Far Cry games there was like two good Far Cry games. Far Cry 3 and 2 and 3 are good. 4's meh. And then everything else they have made. I mean, the Rayman games are good, but they fucking hate Rayman and they will never use Rayman ever again for anything. Just a horrible company, shitty slap company. Valve is S.
well, I don't know.
Think about it. Half-Life, Portal, TF2, Dota 2 is meh, but it's better than
TF2
League.
is awful.
Would you say?
TF2 is awful.
But I love TF2.
Yes, everybody does.
Am I forgetting anything with Valve? TF2, Portal 2,
The
Half-Life.
of Steam.
Oh, Steam, yeah, Steam. Here, let's pull up Valve because Valve doesn't have that many games. You can like see
Oh,
Valve.
Half-Life series, Counter-Strike series,
Where's the list of games?
Portal
Where's
series.
that section of the Wikipedia article? Products, games, list of Valve games. Oh, Counter Strike. Yeah, also Counter Strike. They have Defeat. They have Defeat's like whatever though. More Half Life 2 episodes and shit. Portal, TF2, Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead. Um, yeah, and that's basically it. Oh, and Deadlock, which is pretty fucking good actually. Valve is
Well, I mean,
S.
I have yet to play it.
I don't know what's up with that.
It's because Valve just they release things. Sometimes they won't. But
Valve is S. Like they just are. Half
I
Life.
remember when people hated Steam. That's how old I am.
Like Half Life is one of those games. Half Life 2 is one of those games that is constantly in discussion for greatest game ever made. That's
Yeah,
worth
but you know what?
something. It's
You
not the
know
greatest
what?
game ever made, but like, yeah.
When you watch the speedrun, you're like, wow, wow.
I think a good speed run is a sign that like a game that a speed run that has your game fucking go crazy and shit, and like a million crazy things. I think that's a good sign that your game is like really like there's a lot of like ways you can like I think breaking a game isn't necessarily a bad thing is what I'm trying to say. Like being able to fucking destroy a game for a speed run is a sign that you've made a game that has a lot of fun you can get out of it. I think it's worse when you have a game where the best way to do a speed run is to just play through the game normally but quick. That's boring. I want to see people like manage to skip segments of the game by being able to climb out of the skybox. I want to see that. I don't want
No,
to.
you want to know what? Do you want to know what's really cursed?
What is cursed?
Elder Scrolls
Oh my god.
speedrun.
Elder Scrolls. Okay.
You can
Bethesda
speedrun
speedruns. Bethesda
all
speedruns are
5 games
amazing.
in like under
Bethesda
3 hours.
speedruns. Bethesda speedruns kind of go crazy.
And the longest ones are the oldest ones. Like you'll spend 2 of that 3 hours in like Daggerfall,
Yeah.
but
Bethesda
then like you do Oblivion in under 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
I think that's what they've got it down to because you spawn out the dungeon area. You run into the main city. You clip through one door, load it to the end, let the ending play out, and then that's it.
Okay. So,
Oh, we're here.
when we rank Kojima Productions, we're not ranking Hideo Kojima because that's Konami. I mean, we could just make this the Kojima ranking because Kojima Productions has only made Death Stranding. But
I
if we do
mean,
works
here's
by Hideo Kojima,
I
Cat Metal Gear,
think
that's
I think that number one, the world needs auteurs,
he is an auteur.
but nothing he does appeals to me. on a gaming level. Like 3 hours of cutscene. Fuck it, slow down.
Kojima is
It's a
like
video game.
Kojima
It's a crackhead.
Kojima strikes the same chords with me that Araki does. The guy who makes JoJo. He kind of hits the same chords with me. Just a guy he's got his style, he's got his groove, he's got his shit, and he's locked the fuck in. He's just like
Let's be honest
I'm doing
about
my
something,
thing.
though. Let's be honest about something. Quiet is indefensible.
What'd you say?
Quiet is indefensible.
You're cutting out. What's indefensible?
Quiet.
Quiet. What is quiet?
The the character from Phantom Pain, I think it was.
Oh, I never really, honestly. The thing is with Kojima's, I never actually never played one of his games because I don't.
Just
They're
look
PlayStation
up what
games.
this
They're
character
PlayStation
looks
games.
like. Look up what this character looks
Oh,
like.
is this the big titty woman with like her tits basically hanging out? Yeah.
Yeah, where basically the idea is, oh, she's naked because of this very specific thing, and so she's just going to be naked in front of you the entire game,
Okay, but
and she's
like,
also going to like lounge in front of you
oops. Okay,
constantly.
but like Psycho Mantis reading your like save data and rumbling your controller and having to beat the fight in the
Is
second player
Kojima a
slot.
freak? Kojima a freak.
That's like
The
crazy
cutscenes,
though.
the the cutscenes of Norman Reedus in the fucking shower in Death
Thank you
Stranding.
for that, by the way. Thank you,
Kojima
Kojima. Thank you.
Kojima is a freak.
Kojima's S. Just for his
Kojima's a
insanity.
freak. Let's just
Kojima,
admit that he is the Quentin Tarantino of game
yeah, he
making.
kinda is. But like not rapey and weird. I adore his relationship
Quiet
with
is
Mads Mikkelsen. Okay,
indefensible.
yeah, but I enjoy his relationship with Mads Mikkelsen.
That's a worrying relationship.
What do you mean? I love these
Mads
two.
Mikkelsen is the evil looking guy, right?
Yeah, but he's
Yes.
so hot and he's so nice.
He eats people though.
Yeah, only in the TV shows.
No, I've seen
I love
this.
these
Look into
things.
those eyes. Look into those eyes. Those
He's
are the
so
eyes of a
hot.
person who's eaten people.
Look at his shirt. His shirt is the two. His shirt is this photo. They're so good. I love these two. I'm surprised. What the
Yeah,
Hideo
I
Kojima
can see
reveals
it.
halted project similar to The Boys that would have starred Mads Mikkelsen. They're so good together. They're so good. This photo goes so hard. They're so good. I love Hideo
Kojima's
Kojima.
a freak.
I love Mads
Kojima's a
Mikkelsen.
freak. Hideo. Hideo. You
Hold
are
on.
a freak. You
Hold
are
on.
a freak.
There's a really funny clip of Hideo Kojima at the Game Awards on uh
We should get Hideo Kojima as a guest.
I wish. There's a
He won't come up
there's a really
though.
funny bit where he like they have at the Game Awards or the fuck E3 they have like this tiles for his entrance and he he just outwalks them. He just doesn't give a shit. Like it's so funny. Like he's like, yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna walk at the pace you want me to. Fuck you. I love him so much. And yet I haven't played one of his games. I'm gonna play Death Stranding as the first one too. I'm gonna jump right in with Death Stranding.
The game where he didn't have like anybody holding the reins.
Yeah, where he's just like, I could do whatever I
Because look,
want.
'cause look, there are a lot of wild ideas if you go back in the Metal Gear Solid sort of series. There's some wild ideas in the games. Like, think about it. This was PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 era time, right?
Mm,
You span your character around in the menu.
that's
They
crazy.
like throw up. And you're like, wait, what? I made him dizzy. And it's
Incredible
not the
game.
kind of thing that people were putting in games, but then, like, you get Death Stranding where it's like, Kojima, you're being a freak about this. You're being weird. You're being weird about it. Why are we shaking the baby? Don't Why do we need to shake the baby?
Okay. Okay. I think we've
What the
supplanted
fuck is wrong with you,
this.
Kojima?
See, the fact that we're having this much talk about it just proves he's S tier. I'm looking
What
over.
did it
I'm looking
say?
over the list now. I kind of want to move things around. I want to move Arcane and Activision into C. I want to move Santa Monica and Insomniac to B. And I want to move. I think this is fine. I think this is a fine list.
I want to give a special shout out to one that's not on the list here.
Share.
Bay 12.
That's the one guy who make, or the guy and his brother who make Dwarf Fortress.
They've made other games.
Yeah, they made basically what was, I forget what the game was called.
They made like a handful of games.
I also want to shout out Paradox for not being in this list, so I was robbed of the ability to give them D tier. I don't know where to find their games on here. What are you giggling about?
You could just type in this stuff, but
You're giant on the giant bomb site. Slaves to Armok. Fuck you. Okay, these aren't games. I'm sorry. These are like
all I'm
development
saying is
fun
that
projects. These are like,
they have made other games.
yeah, in the okay
They
games.
do primarily make Dwarf Fortress, but can you tell me a game that is done to my Steam hours? Do you want to know the update?
Yeah, tell me the Steam hours of Dwarf Fortress since the last time you've told me. What are they at now?
284.
284 hours.
284.
That's a lot of Dwarf Fortress love. A lot.
Do you think I might have a problem?
Um, well, you got a few problems, but I don't think Dwarf Fortress is one.
I don't think I've ever thought about dwarves this much in my life.
I don't know. I think about Gimli a lot.
Sometimes, sometimes I fade out like people conversation and stuff, and it's just me like thinking about the dwarves, like how every now and again a dwarf is discovered with his blood completely drained in my fortress, and I don't know why. And this has been happening for years. Every now and again, once in a
Jack the
while.
Ripper. Fucking Jack the
Yes,
Ripper out
I've,
there.
and there's a whole like conviction system, a justice system, and
Oh
all
my
that. I'm a captain of the guard and everything. And like I've interviewed so many, but there's no leads on
my god.
who the fuck. And this has been going on for
Do
years.
you
This,
think do you think Dwarf Fortress will eventually add the complexities of nuclear fission?
as far as I can tell, people have found this out.
Wait, there's nuclear science in Dwarf Fortress? Am I losing my mind?
There are apparently ways to set up computer systems inside the game
My god. I mean, you
using,
can make a computer in Minecraft if you have
yeah,
a big enough um array
brain.
for it. Yeah, like if you have a big enough everything. So like I'm not
Computers made of
surprised.
everything.
Well, I mean like I'm talking like you big enough scale, big enough like fucking render distance and everything to make sure everything was like, actually like loaded up and working because Minecraft has it deloads things. So you got to make sure everything's loaded in. You gotta like, but you can make a computer in Minecraft, but making a computer in Dwarf Fortress does not surprise me at all. Oh my god. Oh my god, that doesn't surprise me.
Dwarf Fortress is a game that if you look at screenshots of it or see it visually, you won't believe that this will be the most taxing thing your computer has ever encountered.
All about optimization, baby.
It's not even about optimization. At this point, it's about the fact that like Dwarf Fortress is doing a billion things on the back end.
Well,
Like one of the things to improve frame rate is to turn off temperature, because apparently when it's like really hot or really cold outside, like just like during a rainstorm or something, or like a snowstorm, it's calculating how hot and how cold and the dispersion of heat as it like
it's fucked up.
every tick
That's fucked up.
per square,
That's fucked up. That's all I can say. That's just
every
fucked up.
tick. Yeah, it's wild.
Jade,
So
you want to know how long we've been going for?
a long time.
Two and a
It's
half
a good thing
hours.
it's a good thing you're editing
Yeah,
faster.
I gotta put. Thank God there was no interruptions or anything. This is 2.5 hours of footage, and I gotta end it. Well,
Gotta end it
I
here.
remember before we started, we was gonna be a short one. I never even got to explain why this episode's coming out on the wrong day, on like a day late. So we're recording this on a Sunday, which is typically when we release these, because Thursday Jade was way too high to record.
Hey, cut that out.
You want to cut that out? It's,
Jade was indisposed.
I was thinking of that word, but I thought it'd be funnier to just say it. I mean, it's okay to say because I'm also the fault of why this is late too. Like, this is also late because of me. So like, I could take a partial bit of blame for that. So the reason why this is really late because normally Thursdays sometimes oh well I have to go out today so I'm not gonna be there. So okay, so we pushed it to Friday. But Friday my new desk came, and I had ordered the desk on Amazon.
No
It
clue
came
what
in,
happened.
and I was like, oh, quickly build the desk. And everything went fine, everything went smooth. I took apart the old desk, I moved a bunch of stuff around. It was all going good, all was going good. And then I'm putting together the new desk, and one of the pieces is wrong. Like, just flat out, it is the wrong piece. And I could not finish the desk. And I like was losing it. I was like, what the fuck? How does this not work? Am I going crazy? I sat there for like an hour just staring at the pieces, trying to make sense of it. But no, I just got the wrong piece, which is like the third time this has happened to me when buying things online, that the things just don't come with everything I need to put it together. Um, and then this took me until 5 p.m. to get the situation sorted, and then I had to leave for the weekend, so I couldn't record until tonight. So, uh, my bad.
Well, I mean, shit happened.
I mean, but I did manage to redo my room basically. It gets a lot more
It is
open now.
going to be a wild year.
It's gonna be a wild year. But yeah, 2.5 hours of podcast. This is our longest one. A good hour was spent on
Yeah,
the tier list.
and the sun's starting to get aggressive with me here, so.
Oh, well, we'll wrap up now. We'll wrap up. Okay. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed. Uh, this year is looking to be an interesting
Interesting.
one. We got a lot of stuff on the horizon, both good and bad. I'm very excited for Civ 7,
Do you know what today's date is for me?
January 6th.
January
It's
6th.
been 4 years since, before we end the podcast, actually, I want to talk about my reaction to January 6th as it was happening, as an American, because I want to give you my perspective on it.
As an American. Alright.
As an American, my perspective of Jan 6th was, I'm not gonna lie, I saw it on the news, was like, oh my god, they're like, I remember we were about to go to my dad's house, because I think it was like a Wednesday or something, and my dad had, because I was still a kid, so like, I was still a kid as in like I was 16, so like, not really like a kid, but like I still was like, going to my dad's house
You
for
were a
custody and
kid.
stuff. So it's like I was a child. I was a minor. Anyway, so I was going to my dad's house for the weekend. Just before we left, I saw on the TV that like it was CNN was on, and it was like Trump protesters storming the Capitol building there and shit, and like I'm like, oh my god, they're storming the Capitol. It's like, oh my god, what the fuck? And then we ran to the back room because the back room had a second TV, and I put on Fox News on that one to see like if like how other stations were talking about this. So I put on CNN and Fox because they're the two biggest, and it was just like, oh my god, they're actually like storming the Capitol building. They're like actually like trying to do this, and I just started laughing because it was really funny.
Oh wow.
I was like, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it because like I didn't know how it was gonna go down. I didn't know if people were gonna start getting shot at. I just thought it was really funny seeing
I
the
was
images.
horrified.
It was really funny seeing the images of these like fucking thick-necked. I don't want to say too many harsh words because I don't want to get this taken down. I'd say some things to you if we weren't recording about what these people were like. Just these thick-necked, dumbass Trump supporters waving around their fucking "Don't Tread on Me" flags and like American flags, thin blue line and shit. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like it was just so like, oh my god, that I couldn't help but
Well,
like
people
laugh.
got what they wanted eventually.
And for a while,
And
January.
Trump's gonna die in a lot of
Oh
them,
yeah,
isn't
no,
he?
yeah, he's gonna pardon all of them. After for a while, for like the following months and the following like 2 years, I'd say it was basically like, wow, that was a complete and utter failure. And but like then it sucks that these people aren't getting like as punished as they should. But like, damn, that was a complete failure. But like now I'm thinking back and I'm just like, these motherfuckers are gonna get away scot free. These motherfuckers are
Yeah,
gonna be considered heroes for like decades
yeah.
now if the right gets what they want. Like motherfucker, god damn it.
They're gonna get book deals and TV
Some of them
shows
already
and
have.
DLCs, like movie specials.
That QAnon shaman guy, the fucking oh god, QAnon. That's just like nobody talks about QAnon anymore because that's the mainstream Republican fucking doctrine now is QAnon. This is too much for the end of a podcast to tack on. I just thought it'd be fun to have a little brief mention of how I react to Jan
Yeah,
6. Because
I was just horrified.
I am the American here. All right.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much. This is a really long episode. If you've made it to the end, thank you for sticking to the end of it. I'll reiterate again.
We are proud of you for sticking it out.
Yes, I'll reiterate again. This year's looking really interesting. I have a lot of stuff I want to do for the podcast. I want to like remake a lot of art here and stuff. I know Jade also wants to change up how we're doing stuff here. Streaming, my streams. I know my streams are gonna like have a lot of changes happen. I mean,
Streaming.
I want 2025 to be a good year. You know, a good kickoff year for a lot of like new stuff I wanna like do, and I know Jade, you feel the same.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, there's like an
I
enthusiasm
do.
though.
It's just, it is a lot of work that I plan to put in,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
we've worked hard today on the
Oh,
podcast.
for sure, for sure. This was a fun time, Jade. You wanna know what's really more fun though?
What's more fun?
Our sponsor, Tencent, and their
What? No.
and their wonderful studio, Riot Games. There's nothing I love more than loading up League of Legends and Valorant at
Oh,
the same time and playing League of Legends and Valorant and getting death threats from two different groups of people.
God.
Don't you love
Like
our overlords Tencent?
10 cent.
Head to tencent.com and put in promo code we love you Tencent heart emoji.
You gotta remember the heart emoji.
Alright, we love you all.
You gotta remember the heart emoji.
Enjoy the rest of your week.
Goodbye.
We love you. Goodbye.